Hello and welcome to unMadeGaming, guys. It is Wednesday and we are back here for Blades in the Dark. And as you can see, everyone in the background's having some kind of conversation. What it is, we'll never know because they're muted. That sassy hand wave, though, however, that's going to get you unmuted for sure and 7 years ago. Guys, we're back with Blades in the Dark, 6 and 20. The Shroud. First and foremost, Johnny, thank you. Thank you for being a friend. Traveling down
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, seriously though, thank you for being the first Twitch Prime affiliate subscription other adjective person. You are the human equivalent of yelling first on a YouTube video, and that's something you should be proud of. Also, Jarrett Meanders, or if you're a pirate, Jarrett Meanders. Thank you for hitting that follow button. Arise, minion, and welcome to the graveyard. Mike, the anonymous rhinoceros, thank you for hitting that subscribe button and joining us on our new Twitch affiliate journey to greatness. Right off the bat, guys, that puts us at 1 new subscriber, and everyone gets +1 position.
Wait, I take my subscription back.
Doesn't matter. It was Mike's subscription.
God damn it!
Yeah, suck it.
That's not how it works.
That's what happens when you subscribe when we're not live. Guys, speaking of subscribing, if you look at that top left corner, nope, I lied, top right corner, we got a fucking subscription button. What that means, not a lot. We had one before. But you guys can click on that, and you guys can subscribe via Twitch instead of via GameWisp. I recommend for now to subscribe via GameWisp. You get a whole bunch more. You get access to our subscriber-only blog. You get access to our subscriber-only GameWisp emotes that you cannot get through Twitch. I'm working with the guys at GameWisp to try to make that a thing, but for now, you don't get it. If you have Twitch Prime and you want to throw that free subscription over here, guys, go nuts. Feel fucking free. Do it up. Do it to it.
Do it, Don.
Yeah. And while I'm shilling you people, if you look down at the bottom left, right, and center of the screen, you see all of our micro goals for followers, subscribers, and retweets. As soon as we hit any of those goals, everyone on screen usually gets +1 advantage, but in this game, they get +1 position. And if you see in the dead center of the screen, that donation thing, if you type !Blades in the chat, it will link you to a new document for donations exclusive to Blades in the Dark universe that you can donate for and interact directly with the game and just be the rad, awesome community that I know you guys are. But without any more of that silliness, let's jump on over to the fact that Owlbear has just become a subscriber, and I don't have something to shout when people become subscribers, so
And
that's a thing.
someone else.
Don't forget about Louise.
And Luis became a subscriber also. Jesus. So
Back into the graveyard for that subscriber.
so 3 positions for everyone. Guys, write that down, because I'm going to forget that.
3
I did.
positions.
Somebody write that down. Yeah.
3 sub positions.
Every time I hear positions,
3
I
sub
think of
positions
Fifth
doesn't sound right, guys. It's not the best terminology. So let's jump over to the man, the myth, the legend. Johnny, who are you? What are you doing here? And why should anyone care?
Nice way to put me on the spot, man. I have no idea why anybody really should care. I mean,
Yeah.
no, seriously. Johnny, VideoStoreCowboy. I run I'm the GM for 6 and 20, which is on this channel and over on Speedy's channel. If you caught last night's episode, that was a makeup episode over on Speedy's channel. They took direct action against you guys, so I'm looking forward to tonight.
I like that Owlbear subscribed and said, "We love you. Please have a bad episode." Way
Did
to
he
be.
really?
Yeah.
It was one of those
Sure.
nice sandwiches. You guys are great. I hope you die.
Yeah, way to be.
Have fun.
Way to be. Guys, we have a new emote. As you see Runt putting in there, it's UMG hype. So get that hype in there for all these followers, all these new subscribers. Hype that shit up in the chat. Put it in there, loud and proud, etc., etc. Miss Ginger Ninja, who are you? What are you doing here? And who are you playing tonight?
I'm going to be playing OC. We're going to try to get into a little more shenanigans, a little more of her backstory, and fuck some shit up.
Sweet. Awesome deal. That works for me. And last but definitely not least, Slade, Quick Dice Gaming. Who are you? What are you doing here? And who are you playing tonight?
So I'll be playing Reymond, and I won't say too much about what's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
If you watch Game of Thrones, it's going to be interesting.
You nailed it.
Don't shoot it!
How fucking dare you?
Don't shoot it!
Listen, just because he's gonna parade Nyx through the street naked, you don't have to tell everybody.
Well,
okay?
let's put it this way. I mean, let's be honest for just a second, though. You guys have been the target of Phantom for the last couple of episodes. I mean, it has been significant, and oh my god, wow, my face is becoming super white because of the sun. I need to put another pillow.
That's why it's super white. Okay.
Are you a vampire?
Yeah, shut up. I hate you all. But so they've been targeting you, and so they've been pulling some really nice little, Game of Thrones shit. And I'm just suspecting that that's what's going to happen in reverse, right? There's going to be some serious targeting, and also unsubscribe.
Yeah. Wow. We've never gotten so many subscribe and unsubscribes at the same time. It's a weird day.
Yeah, you got 30 days anyway. They can't take it back.
Yeah, it must be like a Twitch glitch or something like that.
But
cool,
yeah,
guys,
so-
and as always, I am Mike from unMadeGaming, and I will be reprising my role as Nyx Destarosi here to cause havoc and mayhem and panic in the players of the Phantoms.
Also PG tips. Anyways,
There's so many better teas out there, man.
really?
Yeah,
Well, this is the discussion that we can have on Tea Time with Trindane.
yeah. Like PG Tips is it's good because it's tasty and you can buy it in massive amounts of bulk.
Massive amounts of bulk.
Massive amounts of bulk. Like,
I thought you said bulge, and then I was like bulk, and I was like, that doesn't make sense either.
where's the PG Tips? Over there.
Where?
All right, can we get started?
We end this.
Can we get going now?
Yeah,
'Cause I
now
know
we
you
can
guys
start.
want to be busy.
Now we can start. So, without further ado, Johnny, take us away.
So, a couple things before we actually get started into the meat of the episode tonight. First, I want to address something really quickly that happened last week on Shroud, and just kind of clarify something that was kind of happening, a discussion that was happening off screen last week. Something I intended to be a really cool sort of interaction initially when I had conceptually put it together in my head, ended up being pretty railroady in respect to the results. And because of an off-screen discussion about player agency, we're going to completely retcon the Valeris conversation that Chimes and Bowerbottom had.
One.
That's right, one. So we're going to basically retcon that entire conversation. Chimes is not under contract in any way, shape, or form. She never received a notice that she needed to contact Valeris at the Vale. Bowerbomb never received a correspondence that he should show up, and he was also never offered a contract. So this just basically removes that aspect from the entire story. Whether we actually meet Valeris again, whether contracts are discussed at some capacity with him or what have you, that is entirely up to the table at this point, or depending upon the situation, I might throw something at you. But the result was too much me feeling like I had put both Reymond and Chimes in a position where they were being pressured to or being forced to do something. So I wanted to remove that from the narrative. That being said, a lot of shit happened last week. There was a lot of setup around the fact that Chimes finally had a conversation with her cousin Margette about the circumstances and situation that the Foghounds are currently experiencing. Now, I want to clarify a little bit of a point because I'm not sure it's come across and been very clear. There are two Margette Vales in the Foghounds. One is the younger Vale, who all the characters of the Shroud have met and had discussed with at the Vale. And then there is her mother, who is the one responsible for running the Foghound faction. So just as a clarification, so that when we're discussing it, I will say the younger Vale or the younger Margette or the older Margette moving forward. But so when that conversation finally happened and Chimes brought her to the group, it was discovered that they are in desperate need of some help to accomplish surviving, essentially. And at the mention of a shipment of Leviathan blood coming in, being carried by the Norfolk Company, Nix immediately agreed, and everybody kind of joined in and said, yes, let's go ahead and do that. Also, on last week's show, I believe it was last week, my brain is a little fried from so many episodes this week already. We had OC visit one of her brothels to discover that Ari had shown up and was causing a bit of trouble with one of her new younger workers, courtesans, I guess, for lack of a better word. And she not only had to fire, but also had to set some things straight, which called into question the situation surrounding how safe the secret is that is nigh. Also, last week, Chimes finally confronted the demon, and I'm saying that word very specifically, that is hidden in the basement of the Eden in one of OC's pleasure rooms. And they discovered that there's something not quite safe about having a tied up demon in their dungeon. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you guys, as we were ending up with you beginning the first of a couple of scores that you intend to do, which is a meeting with the Lampblacks, which you had arranged a couple of episodes back.
Mm-hmm. So first of all, Landscape Dude, thank you for that Twitch Prime subscription. That is four positions for everyone. Also, Cornelius gives her subscriber nat 20, or the equivalent, to Slade, and she gives me the advantage, which is another position for myself. And
the nat 20 falls as a crit then.
Right, yep. So, guys, what that means is if you are a subscriber, I see a few people asking in chat, there are all kinds of benefits that are normally exclusive to the Game With subscribers, but because we're working with this whole new Twitch craziness, they're all going to apply. It's just going to be kind of ad hoc, and you'll have to remind me and work with me here. So when you subscribe to the channel, you get to give away 1 free crit or botch every month, and 1 free advantage or disadvantage every month. So I know there's some members of the Shroud in here, and I know you guys want us to very much not succeed, so it is the end of the month, so those will be resetting next month. So this is something you can do if you guys are interested, or you can help us out and just make us be awesome. We'll save your goats. We'll buy you new goats. I tell you what.
Totes save your goats.
Yeah, totes and a goats.
No, don't.
This is gonna get ridiculous. Let's be honest.
I promised someone that I was going to kill a goat, and I aim to prove that.
Whatever floats your goat.
But I'm bumped.
Put your goat in a boat and float it down the moat.
Okay, so
That's why I don't subscribe.
are you done with your crit business? Are you done with your I've got a new subscription button business there? Can we get to the game finally?
Yeah, so are we at the meeting with the Lampblacks already?
Well, so let's establish the scene. You guys were, I believe that we got all the way up to the point, but did not necessarily roll a fortune roll. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we rolled engagement.
We rolled an engagement roll. Okay, I'm gonna go back and look.
I take notes occasionally.
Do you? That's amazing, because you know what? I am terrible at it.
Yeah.
No, we didn't, because the last 2 things were attuned that were rolled.
Are you sure that wasn't the fortune roll?
That's Speedy's game.
No, I'm scrolled up.
Oh, okay. I'll just go.
I rolled a sway, and then
there was a
Violette
sway,
rolled 2
and
attunes.
And there was 2 attunes,
and then the first fortune is their game.
So, but there was a 46 roll that I rolled. Do we have any idea if that was the engagement roll? Because I think it was.
I think it was the engagement roll.
Sure.
And then we ended.
Let's go with that.
I wish there were timestamps.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, so
there's a
we're gonna.
6.
All right, so it was a 6. So we're gonna just call it that, because I believe we did roll it anyway. So whatever. All right, guys. So let's set the stage. Where do you think? Because the Lampblacks are going to want a neutral location, and like everything else in Dual Skull, it's up for discussion, and as sometimes more than just discussion, it's a negotiation. Right. Where would the Shroud feel comfortable having this particular meeting?
So that's the question. So I think Nix might have an idea of what other crews have what other crew's knowledge of the Shroud is? Is there any?
Wait a minute. Would they have knowledge of what crew? I'm sorry.
Of us. How much do people on average know about the Shroud?
Probably not at all. You haven't been trading on your name yet.
Right.
You also have only done a couple of scores, and in those scores,
We covered up.
Have been covered up mostly.
you were in the same spot that Phantom was last night. They haven't been trading on their name yet. So
then in that case, our lair is hidden underneath Eden.
Yeah, but we
Right,
don't want to bring
exactly.
them to our lair
Do we
in case
not?
it goes badly. And it's also not common ground, like we said.
Right, but Eden is common ground. It's just an abandoned church.
I don't know that I want to bring them there.
Okay.
I don't know that I want anyone to be seen walking into that and then that to be a suspicious thing.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, does anyone else have any ideas then?
We mentioned last week if you wanted to do one of my establishments, but or anywhere, any type of bar that we have any friends or whatever in,
That's true.
like a back room.
So-
Owlbear gives his subscriber crit to Jinja, and Luis gives her subscriber fail to the Bowerbottom.
Shit.
oh, that's right. I
Thank
forgot
you,
about
Al.
the fail.
Yep.
That's one goat.
The only stipulation is you cannot use your subscriber things in a game you're playing in. That's the only. That's the only stipulation. Because I think every subscriber we have is in a game, so for some reason.
So would that fail, does that go to Johnny to use against me? Basically, we never. Or
So the way we play it in D&D is that you use it yourself. However, as long as it's on the merit system and that you're just like, oh, I need to jump over this ledge that's only 2 feet. I use my nat 1.
I
You have to
usually
use
do it like we're in like the one time I used it, we were in like a cave and no one had seen us yet. We all rolled great stealth rolls and I had to jump across this ridge with my panther and I rolled a fail and everyone started attacking me and I died. Well, went down. So use it fairly, I guess.
This doesn't sound positive at all. My options seem to be use it and die. And let's.
Yeah, we're there. We'll help. Maybe.
Ryan wants to throw his sub crit to OC and his sub position to Bowerbottom.
Who was that?
Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
I love you so much.
Good shit.
Let's kill them all. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so are there what are the local taverns in I would say actually, you know what, OC, what my dear, what
Silkshore.
establishments do you have in Crowsfoot? If any at all.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
Johnny, I
Crowsfoot
believe
is
I had
currently
one-
a hotbed of turf war, and if anything, it's neutral to no one.
I believe I didn't have one, but I have girls and friends that work in one of them because I think that's where I went after I dropped off that body. Is that correct?
I remember that
Johnny?
being correct. Yes.
Okay. I didn't remember where exactly in Crowsfoot it was, though. It was somewhere near that place we raided.
That you dropped the body specifically for the major.
It wasn't there, but it was like it was in Crowsfoot somewhere. I just don't remember where.
I'm trying to remember as well.
It could be one that someone owns that I'm friends with that I have girls who work there. So like,
Let me double check something real quick. I don't think there are any named establishments in Crowsfoot right now. According to the there's not really a named tavern location. So let's go ahead and come up with one. Or let's go and come up with something that's necessarily deep in Lampblack's territory.
So first of all, DJ for a Porpoise gives his sub crit to OC and his sub position to Nyx.
Oh my god!
So OC,
y'all
you're just
can suck
gonna own the game today. Apparently, you good?
Listen, she's on a rampage. She's not happy.
Yeah, she's on some kind of page. So you want to? I would say not deep in anyone's territory. Like what's in the center of Crowsfoot, or what's in like the least deep crew area of Crowsfoot? Any taverns in the area?
So there would probably be someplace kind of central to the entire. setting, probably near essentially. Okay, so let's take a step back and talk a little bit about the conflict in Crowsfoot. The major conflict is between the Red Sashes and the Lampblacks. They are both vying for they are both vying for territory that is currently controlled by but being lost by the Crows. The Crows are recognized as the district.
The ward boss.
Right. Essentially, that's their turf. Right. But they are continuing to lose ground, mostly by the Red Sashes. But the Lampblacks have a nice big foothold. About the only place that could possibly be considered neutral is Tangletown, and Tangletown is actually a little group of tied together rafts and boats and gondolas that almost resembles like a floating slum,
like a flotilla.
Yes, that's probably the right way to describe it. That is probably the only place that's considered neutral, because it requires consent from the gondoliers to get to and from there, because they control traffic on the canals.
What is our reputation with the gondoliers? Are we relatively neutral with them?
I don't think that you've had any positive or negative interaction, so yeah, you would be considered neutral.
Okay, so yeah, he would pick the flotilla. I believe there was a flotilla. There was an establishment on there called the Feathered Flagon.
Damn it! I was going to call it the Brotilla. Damn it!
Now Trendane threw it in chat, the Feathered Flagon, so I figured I'd throw that in there.
All right, thank you, Trendane. The Feathered Flagon.
I believe it was called Tangletown. It's like a flotilla of small boats and crafts. There is a barge on there called the Feathered Flagon.
Sounds like a peasant's place.
Very much so.
Perhaps we can call on the Bowerstone. He seems like a man of the people.
Oh, he very much is, but he's not cheap. So I can't keep calling on him, but
of course.
Sure I'll shine him a bomb signal.
Right. The bomb signal.
Make sure that bomb signal actually goes off. And then she'll walk out the door to get ready to go.
You see, because the last time we left you with bombs, they failed to go off.
I think you need to roll for that to make sure that it actually works as you expected it to.
It actually goes click, 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 click. This sucks. Who made this toy?
I need to fix a crank on this.
Who made this toy?
I wonder if I should use my fail on that one.
And he breaks his hand.
OC comes back in like 20 minutes later and he's still trying.
Yeah, so I think that's where he would try to set the meeting is in the Feathered Flagon in Tangletown. Okay.
So the Feathered Flagon would be considered neutral territory because of the protection not only of the gondoliers. Now, if you know anything about the gondoliers, and maybe not everybody has read that particular faction in the book. So a little bit of background. Gondoliers are legendary. They're almost folk heroes in a lot of ways. They were really the protection against the paranormal and all of the ghost activity before the Spark Rights. Not the Spark Rights. Oh my God, why am I blanking today? Hold on a second.
The people that collect the corpses.
The people that
Spirit Wardens.
Spirit Wardens. They were the gondoliers were pretty much the guys that were always, essentially taking on any type of spiritual activity, any type of ghost activity, even anything in the occult. And it was because they spent so much time on the water, and most bodies before these, the Spirit Wardens, excuse me, is on my brain fart again. Before the Spirit Wardens came into existence and started actively engaging in more scientific approaches to dealing with the spirit problem. So they're revered, and they are considered a quote unquote a champion of the people. A lot in the same way that the Lost is considered in certain districts. So your approach to the flotilla and the Feathered Flagon would be, from any spot where you could pick up a gondola and have one of the gondoliers kind of steer you in that direction. And as you're kind of making your way, and I'm going to assume you're going to start probably farther off than Crowsfoot.
Yeah,
in your approach.
Can we get a map? going on? In here?
Sure can. Hold on just a second. And you guys should be on it now.
Oh, so we're in Red Sash territory.
So kind of. So the red sash is the Lampblacks and the crows all control Crow's Foot.
Okay.
So you see where I'm pinging on the Dusk River?
No.
No, you're on the wrong layer.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where my confusion was. I thought it was just that. Okay.
Yeah, let me.
My bad.
Come on, layer. Let's get off that. All right, there we go. Get on this.
Ping again.
So that right there is
That is the
Tangletown.
flotilla.
Okay.
That is the flotilla. That is Tangletown.
Okay, so not okay. Cool.
Yeah, and we're coming from Six Towers, which we never really established where we are in Six Towers, but I'll figure that out eventually.
My assumption was always that the Vale house, the Vale estate, was somewhere over here. That could be closely seen from Night Market. Was the way that Lisa had described it for Chimes.
That's fair.
And then my question has always been, where is Eden in there? And so that's something we should probably pick up or look into at some point.
Right there.
Right where? Okay.
That
right.
hexagon.
I could do that
Okay.
too.
Well, that hexagon actually is a location.
You know what, Johnny?
You're right. It is a location. It's
Yeah,
Eden.
it's Eden. You damn jerk.
I actually think there's a description for that particular location in the book, but okay,
In
we'll
that case-
figure it
in
out
that
later.
case, this
We'll figure it
triangle
out
right
later.
here.
We're good. We're good. We're good.
You're real needy. Need location.
You know. Anyways.
So
all right.
do we know where the territories are of the Crows and the Lampblacks by chance, or do we have no idea? We didn't research that, so I assume we have no idea.
You don't have any real understanding of it, right?
Okay. So yeah, I think we would take the long way. Take the long way down. Coming from like this way. Over here. Coming
Right.
down
So
this big river.
so it would be a lengthy trip.
Yeah.
Okay. So and I assume that you would make arrangements for the meeting to be in what would be considered the evening hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Under the cover of darkness.
It's always dark.
Under the darkest part of the darkness day. Shut up, Johnny.
Okay, so you enter the gondola and you make your way in an otherwise mostly uneventful set of circumstances. As you are kind of being as the gondola kind of floats down with the current, and the gondolier is just kind of taking his guide pole and just kind of directing it just a little bit and giving it nudges. You find yourself floating past the outskirts of Six Towers and Night Market, then finding yourselves kind of passing between Charter Hall and Coleridge. And there's a little bit of activity as you're on your way. You're going in that particular direction from another gondolier who appears to be working pretty heavily with a blue coat, retrieving a body from the water. And as that's happening, there's a bit of blue glowiness going on that is indicative of a bit of ghost activity. But once you get back, you passed, you hear a bit of a scream behind you coming from that particular location, and it's gone as you kind of turn the corner and come around Char Hollow and you find yourself moving towards the Dusk River. Now, the Dusk River is quite a large, wide kind of a situation. It's it's in some places it's almost half a mile wide. But as you're coming around Char Hollow and coming back in towards Crow's Foot and the flotilla that is known as Tangletown, there is a fair bit of activity just kind of moving back and forth between Silkshore and pretty much everybody else. Lots of people on gondolas dressed in their finery, making their way towards the pleasure district that is Silkshore. Sorry. As you arrive at the flotilla, it's really that. It is just a series of boats and rafts and gondolas and a couple of large, very old wooden Leviathan hunter ships some with half a mast missing, or the front portion of it just kind of being patchworked together against a couple of other rafts. And so you see that you are in this really kind of hodgepodge setting that almost looks like it's you're taking a risk just stepping on, but to live here is to actually just to court death almost daily. And as you're kind of making your way through, and you find yourself going to the specified location, the Feathered Flagon, you find yourself on the top deck of what was once one of the Leviathan ships that's been set out in the open for the most part. And there are some, there's some tarps, not tarps, but some canopies of different kinds that have been, laid over the deck to prevent, heavy rain getting through. But for the most part, it's kind of in the open setting. And there are various tables kind of set up, and there's a couple of serving women kind of moving around these tables, and off to the far side towards where where you would expect the captain to be making direction, and leading the charge of the ship, is where all the drinks are being served and made and that kind of a thing. And so you sit down and you find yourself kind of just enjoying this unusual locale, because it's something that none of you have been here before, really. This is probably your first time. It's not your typical location for any of you. This may feel a little bit like home and familiar for Nyx, but this is a very different kind of a thing, because everything is just sort of pieced together in a very just unsafe, kind of not structured kind of a way. And as you're just kind of sitting there and taking this all in, you see a couple of individuals kind of move in up onto the deck, search the crowd, really kind of looking for something. And did you agree on a signal of some kind, or a particular way that you would acknowledge each other in respect to this meeting?
We didn't. They returned a letter to us saying we'll meet on neutral ground in X days.
I would assume that we wrote a letter back saying
meet here.
Flotilla.
Yeah.
Yep. Flotilla in red or something. And maybe Nye's wearing like a red corset or something.
Yeah.
Like very vibrant red.
Okay. So the two individuals that are there are kind of looking around at the crowd, just kind of searching, taking it in. They acknowledge one of the serving women and order drinks. And just as they're finished ordering the drink, the second one, the one that's behind, kind of looks over, notices Nye's outfit, or sorry, not Nye's, OC's outfit, acknowledges to the person that's kind of standing there, and motions to move over in that particular direction. The two that are approaching you, one is quite big, very much a brute or a bruiser of some kind. Very clearly been in a number of fights, broken nose, kind of gnarled, scars all over his face, and his forearms are kind of exposed. They're blackened a little bit with burn marks and what looks to be soot from chimneys and coal and that kind of a thing. But he's otherwise, just quite a large individual, and is nondescript for the most part. The other one is quite a fair bit shorter. Wears a pair of glasses, though one of the spectacles, one of the lenses of the spectacles, the right one, is cracked a little bit. And he has a fair assortment of items on his vest that are indicative of treating or cleaning or treating intricate pieces of equipment. And he wears it kind of proudly. And as they approach, they look over the three of you and say, are you the ones that we were supposed to meet?
That depends. Who are you here to meet?
Did you deliver the major?
Yes.
Then you're the person we're here to meet.
Did you enjoy your gift?
Ha ha ha. Business before pleasure. Business before pleasure. And they sit down.
Always.
Slade,
And
are you Reymond or are you Bowerstone?
It's going to be somewhat in the shadows, like but behind you. So you're definitely the front man. But he'll be to the left.
But are you Bower Bottom? Bower Bomb? Sorry.
True.
Are you BB?
I am BB.
Okay.
So you are dressed in your leathers with your face covered?
Yes.
Okay, I have a question about this because this is interesting in respect to the presence of the Bower Bottom. Shit, now you got me.
BB.
ABB.
ABB.
This will be the first time that Bower
do?
Bomb. This will be the first time that Bower Bomb is making an appearance in public and associating himself with somebody, like,
It is,
and not being distant.
Yep.
And that's your intent. I just want to clarify that because I know that
he is associated himself now with the Shroud group.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So he kind of looks around, making sure that the serving woman comes and brings the drinks that they had ordered. And as she arrives, she drops them and she says, "Can I get you? Can I get you? I recommend, And he rattles off some drink name.
OC will pull a flask and kind of point it in her direction and then give her a tip. Anyway.
Okay.
I come prepared.
PG tip. All right. So after that little exchange, and they take a long swig off their drinks. Yeah, it's a cold night. But as I was saying before, business before pleasure, and it was really pleasurable to have the Major join us. Thank you. But that was an interesting introduction and an interesting calling card. Why?
It occurs to me that you need assistance.
We're recruiting every man we can, so if you want to join up.
No, I don't. As a matter of fact, and he just motions towards Bower Bomb.
You wanted to say bottom.
It was a good save. It was a good save, though. I commend
Bower Bomb. He motions towards Bower Bomb and then motions towards the two of them. And then he leans back on the table and waits for Bower Bomb to do whatever he was going to do.
And with that, he's going to walk up quite staunch. And they're both sitting down, correct?
Oh, yeah.
And he's just going to look at them both. The saying just get up.
Wait, what are you doing?
I'm telling them to stand up.
The shorter, sort of more, nerdy of the two looks up at you through his broken spectacles. Looks over at the one next to him, and he says, "Henner." And that one stands up. The bigger of them stands up, and he towers over you. I mean, he is 6'5", incredibly built, very bulky. Again, scars all over his face, broken nose, broken in, what would have probably been a couple. And he cracks his knuckles, and it's a loud, ugly popping sound, a little bit wet almost, and says, "Yes."
Put your hands out and spread your legs. I'm checking you for weapons.
That was one way to put it.
He's going to make a move to grab you.
I will counter move that if I can.
Well, that's why I'm giving you the option.
So
I'm telling you what he's doing. You have an opportunity to do something about it. So
okay,
what are
so
you going to do?
If he's going to grab, then I'm going to try and basically put him in a lock and put him on the table. So basically use momentum against them.
Okay.
Lots of advantages for this, because this is time for a power.
You also have one crit success and one crit fail.
Oh, can I use the crit success for this?
You are more than welcome to.
I want to use it as a powerful scene.
Okay, so talk to me about what type of action would you have used to do this?
All right, let me bring it up. I somewhat want to use it as finesse to make it look like almost just fluent putting him down. Like, there's no aggression, no strength there or anything. It is just pure momentum that he's been able to do it.
Okay, so that would still, I mean, so finesse is more about, picking a pocket, doing something really
All
kind
at
of
the
sleight of
same
hand.
time.
Well, okay, all right. So
You're gonna pick his pocket? God damn it!
No, I'm not gonna pick his pocket.
God.
I don't have
All right.
that much sense. So
here's what's going to happen. You successfully do this, right? You roll, you do the crit, right? And it's more than just that. You grab him as he's reaching out for you. I mean, he just immediately his arm shoots out, but the Bower bomb's reflexes are so significant. It's just like you bat it away, grab the hand at the same time, using his momentum and spinning him around, pulling the arm up behind him, hurting him a little bit as you hear a pop by his elbow, and get him onto the table. You now have him in this position, and he is subdued completely, and basically you're, for lack of a better word, bitch. What are you going to do now?
So I'm going to turn to the right and just look at the nerd.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't polite.
OC is going to stand up from the table, slowly, and just say, all right, boys, that's enough. We've been doing this for a while. We're a small group. We have to be cautious. You understand. If you have people who want to do business, you do it professionally. If you'd like to pat us down, you're more than welcome to. But we're not going to put ourselves in a situation when we come with gifts.
It's interesting. You say you come with gifts. You delivered a gift already.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment we sit down to start business, you demand things. This is very, very, and he thinks about it for a second. This is not good for business. When you pop his elbow and he looks at Bowerbaum and he stares at you right in the eyes, like even if you've got goggles on, right? Like he's looking directly at you. And for the first time you realize there's more to this guy than just a subtle kind of nerd kind of a thing. There's a little bit of intensity about him. There's a reason he was sent as the person to negotiate or to have a conversation at this meeting. You don't start by damaging the goods, the property. You don't start off a relationship by making people hurt. So, and he sits back, and you can see that as he sits back, his vest kind of slides just a little bit to the side, and all of the tools that you see that are all related to the care and repair of, the gas lamps and various tools, and there's a little canister of oil for that would be for oil for cleaning. Under it, you see that there are a series of daggers lining the inside because of the way he sits back. He just kind of opens his vest a little bit, and it's lined with daggers, throwing knives. There's a couple of short blades in there specifically for close quarters combat.
Yeah.
And he looks at you all and he says, "Now, are you going to let my man go? Or has the conversation ended and the fighting begun?"
We don't wish to fight. We'd like to speak. But it's hard to speak when I can see that if this conversation goes wrong, there's going to be a fight instead of walking away from it. Would you like to speak and see what we have? That was just a taste of what we can give you guys. We can be mutually beneficial.
He snaps his fingers and says, "Let me give you a taste of what we have." And every other person on the deck at all the tables stands up. Now, are we clear?
Nix looks across and he kind of like sneers and has a small chuckle. And he says, "Well, neutral territory, I see, is what we agreed on, and what you brought was anything but. Your strongman here proved to be just that, and all your other friends have helped you so adequately against the Red Sashes when myself and, 2 companions were able to slip in and steal, let's say, one of their mages and drop him off at your door without even a blue coat noticing his absence. Now, this is what I offer you. Assistance. You've seen what we can do, how easily a man half the size of your muscle broke his arm. How easily we dropped that major off to you, alive and well, and able to answer questions for you. Now, what I would like to do for you, is I would like to continue that relationship where I help you and your problems with the Red Sashes. You see, they are no friend of mine. To be perfectly honest, they're no enemy either, but I like what you are about, as opposed to what they're about. The Eruvians, though unique in their own ways, don't sit well with me. He says, and, if you become the ward boss of the Crow's Foot, or hell, if you take some of their land, their turf, I could use some of that as well. So I will assist you, as I have, in exchange for turf, land, in Crow's Foot. Or I walk away, and you continue to lose men left and right, and the favor of the people of Crow's Foot. I heard that there were several murders recently. The spirit wardens were there, even. Dangerous business. That explosion, even. Quite a mess.
Yes, it was very curious, actually. Apparently, there was a couple of land blocks found in the basement.
Oh.
We are no friend of theirs either.
There, that's who we're talking to.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's what you get when you're typing.
Yeah.
I'd almost like to see if we could sweeten the deal.
So when he says that there was even a couple of lamp blacks in the basement, or whatever he said, says exactly my point. Messy business. You need subtlety, my friend. Subtlety. In and out. Your 2 boys got themselves killed and made a mess of that explosion.
He looks at you, and as you're saying all of this, and he really is paying attention to all of the mannerisms and with the way that you're emoting yourself and the way that you're carrying yourself, and he's really kind of studying you as you're kind of sharing all of this. And when you finish with that last little bit about the lamp blocks, he says, "You really think you're smart, don't you? You really think you're clever."
Clever's a good word for it.
You don't know much about the blunt blocks, do you?
That's what I'm here for.
We don't fight, behind closed doors. We
Right.
fight out in the open.
Which is clear. But I fight behind closed doors, and have admittedly been more successful than you.
So what do you offer on me? If you are so clever and you are going to help us, and you're going to fight behind the scenes, and our efforts are going to continue, what are you offering?
I have it on good authority that I can provide you with at least a modicum of what the Red Sashes are planning, their recent scores, their upcoming scores, and if the need arises, another one of their mages, or perhaps captains, or any other lower Eruvian.
Well now, that's...
I assume the major provided information, or at least pleasure in murdering.
And so, well, I mean, it was fun. And he smiles. And as he smiles, he unconsciously begins to reach for his the right side of his vest, and he's like he grabs it like this. But as he's grabbing it, you see that his fingers are kind of moving under the vest a little bit, and it's a subconscious or an unconscious action that he's taking, and he appears to almost be fondling something. Like he's touching it in such a way that it's almost a little intimate, but it's under his. He said, "Yeah, that was very good. I enjoyed that a lot. But let me be sure I understand you. You know little about us, so let me be very clear about that. We fight in the open. We want our territory. We run our little drugs. We do our little things. But we fight in the open because we believe in standing in the light. Once we were a skilled trade, that day is gone. Though there are some of us who still believe that that's what we should be doing, or we should be fighting for, that day is gone. Let's be honest. Nobody is going to bring back the lamps. But you make an interesting proposition. I cannot make a deal. That is not my place to be. But I can influence the deal. And so, again, I will say, what is it you really want? Because clearly you seem to be able to offer us so much.
Well, I already told you. You see, the Crows, they own Crow's Foot.
Obviously, we've been over this before,
Right.
but that's not what you really want.
There are
You just don't want turf.
There are three. Well, with turf comes power. I don't want the Crow's Foot. That's yours. You have it. I do want turf. Turf means more power, means extending my reach. And I want my reach to extend across the city. And trust me, the farther my reach extends, the more benefits you gain by being a friend or at least an ally.
Who are you? I've not even heard of you before. This is our first meeting.
Exactly my point, my man. You've never heard of me, and look what we've done already.
You
It's
could have
easier
been
to-
lucky.
It's easier to broker deals behind closed doors than fight in the street and be killed at night. If you don't know who you are and you don't know,
You may
it's easier for us.
You may step out and fight in the light, but we are shrouded in shadow.
Dun, dun, dun.
I like what you did there.
Like that?
I like what you did there.
Tagline.
That was pretty good.
Tagline.
Caught me off guard.
And end stream.
Yeah. Good deal.
Done. You guys win.
Session campaign over. Shroud wins.
He looks over at OC after what she said and responds with, "You don't live in the foot. You don't deal with what we deal with hour after hour. It's more than just turf we fight for."
If
He
there's
shakes
any
his head. Say what?
if there's any hospitality that we can extend to make these days a little bit easier as you're fighting, to make you
So-
more comfortable.
As you say that, some bells start being rung around the flotilla. And it's loud enough that it gives you pause for a second as these bells are being rung. And everybody stands up almost immediately and begins to move into essentially enclosed spaces around the flotilla. Decks, deck cabins, little shanty structures that have been built on top of it, going below deck down into holds. And he looks at you and says, "I think you should come with us. You don't want to be outside right now."
Does Nix know what this is? Does anyone know what this is?
Does anyone know what this is?
Like Nix,
Nope.
Bowerbomb, or OC?
If I have
Would any of
girls
you-
that work around here, if we send them
well,
around, would I have any idea? Because if they had something traumatic happen, I'd probably hear about it and not send them there anymore.
Unless you were a resident of Crowsfoot or you spent a lot of time in Crowsfoot, and I don't
No.
think if the three of you have at any point.
So this
Are you
isn't
gonna
like
know
this isn't like a specific nautical related thing.
Oh no. This
Okay.
this has nothing. This is not nautical related at all.
Okay.
So he motions you to follow him, and takes you down into the hold. What would have been the hold of the half of the Leviathan ship that you are all kind of seated in, or have been sitting on top of. And he takes you down the stairwell, or the stairs for the first level of the hold, and then walks you down to a second and escorts you into a more private room off to the side. And there's a port hole that where you can see out across the water towards Crowsfoot. And you continue to hear the bells ring for another minute, and then they all grow silent almost immediately. He says, "You're about to experience one of those little things that I was talking about. Remain silent." And it gives you this look. And almost immediately, from all around you, there are these really just sort of outrageous, loud, just shrieking and screaming. And it's just that it's as if like all around you, around the flotilla has erupted. It's just this torrent of noise. And as you see, there's a little bit of a glow outside. As you look outside, you see that there appears to be just an untold amount of spirits rising out of the Dusk River, just kind of moving up and kind of floating there. Various beings of various shapes, and they kind of float towards Crowsfoot and kind of move forward through the open areas in the streets, and they kind of disappear. And the water, though it's ink black, has this weird iridescent glow, just sort of kind of dancing across it. It's not a mist, but there's something really strange about it. And as you all are kind of watching this, you hear more screams, more in the distance. And after a couple of minutes, the noise really begins to stop. And everything begins to quiet down again. And then you hear a bell toll, and it is one long sound as it resonates. It's just one strike of this bell, and it just resonates across the water towards the flotilla. And he says, "Now we may speak again." So you offer us so much. Are you willing to accept the consequences if you fail?
He says, we've offered you what we know we can accomplish. There is no failure for us. We provide you information which comes easy to us. So what is this consequence you speak of? There is no information that we cannot obtain.
He looks at you very shrewdly, considers you for a second, and says, "Do you take a test? Would you be willing to accept a challenge on that particular note?"
And he rubs the bridge of his nose. Another test. Everyone with their tests. Was the Major not a good enough display of our abilities?
That's a kidnapping. That happens all the time.
A kidnapping of such a person of authority in a rival gang in a territory which you wish to possess. Mighty fine coincidence.
What are the sashes to all of the noble families all the kidnappings that are going on in the noble families. Do you know about that?
Oh, you mean the demonologists? Yes, of course. Who hasn't heard about that? Or are you referring to, of course, the Leviathan hunters that have the nobles all in a tizzy?
Interesting. What do you know about the Leviathan hunters?
Clearly more than you if you're asking this question. What information do you want to know?
All right. Here's a good one for you. Tell me what you know about the Foghounds.
I know that they are, last I heard at least, they were friends of yours. They are in dire straits currently. There is someone else in the docks moving in on their turf, who I have not found out yet. But, I know how desperate the Foghounds are. I know how desperate the Margets are.
He rolls his eyes when you mention their names. The elder is... That was a bad day when she took over.
Yes, I've heard the fate of DCW 12324. Arise, minion, and welcome to the graveyard. I'm sorry, you may know the ship as the Foghound, perhaps.
So how desperate do you think they are?
Desperate enough to get themselves killed over a job they shouldn't touch.
What job is that?
You tell me. I've shown you some of my cards. Do you know what job they're speaking of?
Oh, yes, I think I do. But let me be very clear. You think you can help us, so let me ask you this. What do you know about the shipment coming in tomorrow night for Leviathan blood?
I know everything but its route. Currently.
Do you know about the fact that they've been tipped off? That there's an attack coming?
I would only assume as much. It is Northhook, after all. Or, I'm sorry, it is the Ministry, after all.
Security has been doubled on the Leviathan dock, where the shipment is coming in.
As it should be.
I see. So you do have good knowledge. All right. I will bring this back to my boss, though he seems to be preoccupied these days with his god.
Would you... And he, side-eyes OC when he says his god. Would you be remiss at the loss of the Foghounds? What I know that they are failing in their abilities to smuggle, or whatever it is they tell you they do. What would your opinion be if they were to be unable to assist you?
We would lose a fair bit of business, and that would be a problem. As you clearly seem to know, there's a lot of coin going into the Red Sashes right now. And that is making this conflict a little difficult. The crows hold as tenuous. I would tell you that we have them as long as we don't have to deal with the sashes.
I know it was said last session, Johnny, but was it said does everyone in the Shroud know that Valeris is backing the sashes?
Sam, Valeris is not. Yes, it was said that Valeris was backing us.
In the retcon, I'm not sure what remained, what
I
knowledge.
think you told us after. I think we met up after.
I didn't know that would be a Bowerstone and Vale thing, but that would be retcon. So
yeah, so you would not know that. That is still an in-world thing. That's definitely. It's definitely an in-world thing. It is definitely not, though, something that would have been mentioned to either Chimes or Reymond at this point. So,
because I forget who told us that when we were making that deal, or when they were talking to him.
Well, we're not having that. Didn't happen anymore.
But I forget who said it. It wasn't him. Someone said it in passing.
Margette? No.
Is that who it was?
Oh, yes, it was.
So that did happen.
Right.
It
okay,
did happen.
cool.
That is
So
correct.
that is-
Okay.
And we were all there for that.
Yeah. So he, at the mention of a lot of coin is going into the fog hound, or into the red sashes, he says, "Yes, I heard about a demon man. Possibly Taikarosi, maybe. Just someone who slipped through the wires, if you catch my drift. He funnels a good bit of coin."
It's that, and on top of that, we also are aware that they do a fair bit of kidnapping.
Yes.
We
yes.
even heard that there was some fool who was actually paying them to kidnap him and hold him
I
safely.
also heard that. A professor.
From Charter Hall, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, aren't they all?
Well, there is the Duskfall Academy.
The Academy. The Spectra Society as well.
Yes, of course. So he kind of gets a little more comfortable, and he looks at all of you, and he says, "So, what do you really need from me right now? Because again, I don't believe that it's just influence and territory. There's always an exchange of goods or services that have an immediate value. You don't just deliver me pleasure for free." And he looks over at OC.
What do you do if you're a friend?
I'm sorry, what?
We do if you're a friend. She'll say, and maybe in exchange for all the information we've given, we could meet on neutral ground next time.
This is neutral ground, but I know a guy who knows a guy, so...
So it's not.
Sometimes...
It's a favor that I'm no longer owed, so...
Sometimes you see friends give friends gifts. And he's like super nonchalant, like not even looking the guy in the eye. You see, we gave you a gift on the auspices of friendship. And sometimes friends sit down for some rum or some tea, what have you. And they exchange pleasantries. They touch tips, if you will. PG tips.
That doesn't sound very PG.
Sometimes there are stories exchanged. Stories involving what, rivals are doing or other friends may be doing. And this may seem paltry to you, but could mean the world to me, friend.
All right. So, here's what I'll do for you. I'll give you a gift in return, because you clearly have some interest in the Foghounds, and we would like to see them continue. But they're desperate, and it's risky, and if we have to sever ties, we have to sever ties. Our focus is the Crow's Foot, not the docks. But. He looks you in the eye and he says, the Northhooks know somebody's coming for that Leviathan blood. And they believe it's the Foghounds. We don't know why. Somebody tipped them off. Luckily, we have one or two people placed in the docks that caught wind of something. We don't know who. We don't know why. We don't know how. But 20 Marines became 40 Marines and the ship hasn't even arrived yet. I guarantee you that it's going to be quite a busy transport. But I will tell you this, once it arrives, it actually passes through our territory. So if you decide on the way from the docks to Coleridge, that you have an interest in it, we'll give you a little help, and we'll see how that friendship goes.
How about I do you one better?
Sure.
Your cutters, and he motions around the room. How good are they at hiding?
Well, we've got a bunch of new recruits. And he shakes his head and he says, Baz, he's mad. It's almost as if he's feeding some habit by hiring new blades. And some of them die quicker than we can hire them.
What if someone else were tipped off about this caravan passing through your territory? What if someone of Eruvian blood were tipped off? What if they were told that it was a good plan to attack this, and you know the route, and you sabotage that attack? Ambush, if you will. You assist us in gaining the caravan for your friends the Foghounds and lift them from the squalor that they find themselves in currently, and you take a few red sashes with you. To keep, for pleasure, for murder, what have you.
That might be fun. And I think, are you trying to convince him of this, or are you just making a mere suggestion?
Yeah, I would be trying to convince him that I can get the red sashes to attack at a let's say a known point, maybe, or a known, if he knows the route, rather. They'll attack on the route. That way, the Lamp Blacks can jump the ongoing attack when it's dwindling down, kill the red sashes, and we still take the caravan. So 2 birds, 1 stone. It's a hit against the red sashes. We leave a bunch of red sashes corpses where the caravan was stolen, and it looks like the red sashes did it, and we still take it away. Okay,
so I think this is the point where I think a roll is going to come into play, because up until this point, it's been, kind of a back and forth and, kind of sort of negotiation, but this is really the kind of a thing where you need to convince him in some way, shape, or form that you can actually do this without having the reputation, right? Because you guys still are a tier 0 faction. You don't tread on your name, although you just dropped Shroud for the first time. So I think we're going to call that. And unless you want to use one of your crits, which you're more than welcome to.
I don't have any crits.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have a bunch of positions though.
I do have a bunch of positions. Yeah. So would this be sway?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So let's see. So I have 2 points in sway. Do I have anything that can make this? All right. So let's discuss position. I assume this would be risky.
Yeah, because it's an uncertain relationship.
Can I help?
You can totally offer an assist on this one.
Okay. And then it's 2 stress if I help, right?
That's correct. So he'll get 1 die at the end. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna spend one of my 6 positions and make this controlled.
All right. That makes complete sense.
Because I have so many of them.
Well, not only that, but you could. I mean, I could see an argument for it being controlled.
Yeah, like there's a narrative the man inside that they don't know about, kind of thing.
Right. There's also
it looks risky, but I have more cards up my sleeve than they're aware of.
Right. Exactly. I mean, there are a bunch of narrative, explanations for why this could be considered a controlled situation, and so that totally makes sense. Okay, so you're going to spend one of yours on and make it a controlled situation or controlled position.
Yep. Oh, they added new effects. Standard, limited, great, extreme, and 0.
That is new to me. That's interesting. We're gonna have to look into that.
It's in the drop down.
We're gonna have to look at that.
So I assume this would be like standard or great. Because not only are we brokering a friendship here, we're convincing them to steal a caravan. We're kind of blaming it on or attempting to at least blame it on the red sashes if they buy into this, and pulling the Foghounds out of squalor. This is a big undertaking, if they agree to it.
If you can convince them to it, it would have a significant impact. So I agree, that's great.
All right. So I have 1 bonus dice from OC helping me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And she gave you she took 2 stress for that.
Yep.
She's just gonna quietly wink.
Blow a kiss. Man, I can't think of any other I can't think of any other bonus dice reasons. Does anyone else have any ideas what would give us bonus dice?
The fact that he now has a good relationship with us, the fact that he at least called off his people, and we've like managed to catch his interest this long.
Okay. I can see that for another die.
Okay. Cool. So I'm going to roll 2 die extra.
Yep.
Come on.
Rough start, but we got there.
Wow. Okay. So, as you make that suggestion, that's a bold statement. That's a bold offering. I'm impressed. Some would say that. He says, "All right. Let us plan for this, and we'll consider this the actual test, so that I can convince Baz that this is a good idea. You've convinced me. I think this is good, but Baz ultimately is responsible."
Now I have 2 questions for you. Can your men quickly retrieve the fallen bodies of these new recruits you have? The less lamp-black blood spilt, and the more red sash blood spilt and left to remain, the more it looks like an attempt by the sashes. The more it draws the ire of the blue coats.
We usually just dispose of the bodies in the river, but okay.
My second question is, Baz, this god you had mentioned, what do you know of it? You see, I have friends in higher places that don't rightfully like the occult, and I'd like to put you in touch with them as well. But it all depends on how in the throes of passion Baz is with his newfound god.
Baz likes his money. He likes his pleasure. Occasionally, he invokes the god, but it's no big thing.
Good. Well then, we should plan for a caravan.
Excellent. But we don't have much time, so we'll get started. And with that, he stands up, kind of steps back, and you see that he sheathes a dagger that he had under the table that he had pulled, and you hadn't seen him actually pull. And he says, "This is good. I like this. This is very good." And he extends his hand to you, showing you his arm, and says, "My name is Pickett."
He pulls his sleeves up, showing that there's nothing on his sleeves either. He opens his coat, and you can see the tip of a bottle sticking out. And as he reaches it and pulls it out, he like exposes his open arm, and you hear a click as the palm pistol slides back in to where it was hidden. And he says, "In the Isles, we drink on an agreement." And he takes a swig and then hands the bottle.
Bottoms up. And he takes a swig. And
You what? I mean...
Bottoms down. Ready. Relax. And he takes
Reymond,
the bottle.
I swear to God, I didn't even think about that, you bastard.
He takes the bottle and puts it back inside of his coat. Inside of Bowerstone's coat.
That's a nice coat.
I know, your friend said the same thing. He says hello.
And he says,
We're
And he says-
slowly release hands off the guy now.
"Oh no!
No, you guys went below. We all went below deck.
You
So
won't
that was
blow
a
to
while
lack.
ago.
He's hurting and in pain someplace else at this
I'm
point."
just gonna look to him then. They're just like, be faster next time.
Fair enough. And he says, "After you." And he motions for everybody to go to the door.
Yeah, he leads the way to the door, opens it up, and lets OC and Bauer bomb follow.
Oh, she's
Or
just
leave
holding
it.
her cane. She was holding her cane the whole time, just in case.
Okay. So we'll call that the end of the score.
Mm-hmm.
You each make your way in different directions. as you're kind of coming out, you see. We'll just close this off narratively. You come back on deck. You see that most everyone is still actually under on the deck or under the in cabins or anything else. There's not very many people around, although the two gondoliers and their gondola boats that are standing at the waiting dock on the flotilla both have their lightning hooks out and look ready, prepared to go into action should the need arise. As you engage one of them and acknowledge, instead of putting the lightning hook back on his back, the gondolier puts it down kind of next to him where it's in very close reach and begins to push against the current of the Dusk River to take you back to Six Shores. Okay, we're going to call that end of score.
So so before we finalize it, as he steps onto the boat, did I get his name? I'm sorry, I was
Pickett.
Pickett.
Like a picket fence?
Yeah. So is Pickett on the is he nearby when we're stepping onto the gondola?
Yes.
So as we're stepping on and like getting ready to roll off, he looks at him and says, "One more thing. These intrepid new crew members that are attacking your friends at the Foghounds. What do you know of them?"
He looks at you thoughtfully and says, "Not much. There's a new player, as far as we can tell. But they've remained elusive. Not unlike the business that you were a part of. They move in and out of shadows. But their interest clearly is the Falcons."
So I've heard. Until recently, they haven't caught my ire, but now they are a persistent thorn in my side. If you should hear anything, they are a concern of mine.
I am not the master of whispers. I don't keep secrets.
Don't worry, I'll keep them for you. And
All
he
right.
puts his other foot in the boat.
All right. And with that, he kind of gives you a wave, and you move on. Okay, so let's do the payoff. Let's get through this quickly. I know you guys want to kind of push to a second score towards the just at least to start a second score during this. So, 2 rep by default. You were dealing with the Lamp Blacks, which happens to be a tier 2, I believe.
Yeah, they're tier 2. Everyone in Crow is tier 2.
Well, so I need to double check. There are things that are happening in the background, progress clocks and things. So let me double check that real quick on my sheet. Yeah, okay. So they're still tier 2.
So is that 2 more?
So that's an additional 2 rep.
Okay.
For the tier. And so for coin, this really isn't. I mean, this is significant, but not super significant in that because they're a tier 2. It really seems to me to feel like another. It's like a minor job.
Yeah.
So a minor job is 2 coin. Yes, it's tier 2. Or sorry, so it's going to be 2 coin for the payout in respect to the amount of coin that you receive. So that's 4 rep, 2 tier. Where do you guys sit on the rep scale?
We are 10 out of 12.
You are 10 out of 12.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. I would have thought you guys would have had more.
No, we got 2 from. Well, no. We only did like two scores. And this one
There have been 2
4.
previous scores. I get that, but I thought one of those scores was a lot higher. So okay. All right. So let's talk about heat real quick. This was smooth and quiet with pretty low exposure, in my opinion. So I'm gonna call it 0 from that particular perspective. However, you were dealing with a tier 2 faction. So I think that at least gets you at least 1 heat for that.
Yeah, we're on someone's radar now, an extra person.
Well, you're not only so you've engaged with 2 out of the 3 organizations that are in the Crow's Foot. So yeah, you are definitely popping up. So this is going to be at least one heat for that.
Right.
There were no killing involved. You're not at war with anybody, so we're just going to call it 1 heat altogether.
Cool. So
what is your heat?
There. Our heat is 4.
All right. Now go ahead.
So Sweetie donates $3 and says +1 Devil's Bargain for Nyx to persuade more Guyliner. And Frags says in all caps, I want to use my subscriber advantage on Unmade, which means that's an additional 2 more position, I believe. Oh, no, that's a one more position and one extra dice. Basically a free Devil's Bargain.
Okay, so you get. Okay. Hold on, I'm trying to make sure that I keep track of these moving forward.
I'll let you do that.
Yeah, I'm doing that because I'm.
lot.
Yeah, there is a lot. So that was That was 1 additional position for Nyx and 1 additional Devil's Bargain for Nyx, right?
Yeah, 1 free Devil's Bargain
for Nyx. And then Sweetie donated the same to you again, so
nope,
that you got.
No, that was it.
That was okay.
That was included in that.
All right, good. All right, so
cool.
That is now updated. All right, there we go. Okay, so entanglements. You guys have 4 heat.
Yep.
With a wanted level of 0. So
right.
I'm going to hold and roll d6, and let's see what happens. And then I'll give you guys a choice, like I've given you guys and Phantom every time. Roll 1d6.
Nice negotiation, by the way.
Ooh, this is cool.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's totally cool. Reprisal. An enemy faction makes a move against you, or a friend contact, or a vice purveyor. Pay them 1 rep or coin per tier of the enemy as an apology. Allow them to mess with you or yours, or fight back and show them who's boss. So either that, reprisals, or Unquiet Dead. A rogue spirit is drawn to you, perhaps it's a past victim. Acquire a service of a whisper or a railjack to attempt to destroy or banish it or deal with it yourself.
I thought you said this would be cool.
Both of these are actually really cool. Shut up.
We do have something or someone that we can use to flex.
Yeah, so that would be a question. Would be if we do the dead thing.
The Unquiet Dead.
Yeah, that one. Since we're literally down a whisper.
Yep.
The whisper would obviously be able to take care of it, but how do we play that since she's not here today? Is my question.
Well, so we could have it come and begin to affect you guys and cause complications.
Okay.
And then when we see her next week, she can engage it and interact with it in some way or shape or form and see how that plays out. So it will come into play at some point during the session that there's something going on, whether you are able to deal with it by yourself or try to address it or have Lisa address it next week. That's entirely up to what you guys want to do once it comes in. But I guarantee you it will make some sort of an appearance during the session.
OC, were you thinking of something different?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you say flex a little bit, you could do something to show to intimidate them a little bit.
Yep.
Is that what you meant?
Yep.
We have someone in mind. I don't want to say it unless we're going to hold on.
Do we? I don't know.
Why don't you guys do your little messaging thing and figure that out, and then we'll start talking about downtime.
Oh, hell yes.
So, Reymond, do you want to go first for downtime?
Hell yes.
Because I know that you've been queuing up a couple things.
Oh, hell yes. So the first thing I want to do is try and finish off my secret project.
Okay. Let's go ahead and switch over from the map to the progress clocks.
It's downtime.
And that's the Not the secret OC project, but it's the unknown project that's sitting right next to the secret OC project, right?
Yes, it's a secret one without a label, and it's not because someone didn't purposely put one on there.
Oh, behave. Yeah, no, it's not that. No, actually, there was one. It just got removed for whatever reason. I was there earlier today. So, anyways, let's go ahead. Yeah, well, so you've got 2 elements on this secret progress block. Why don't you go ahead and roll me whatever skill is going to be appropriate to...
Oh, I definitely know what it is.
Okay. What is that going to be?
Tinker.
Okay.
So position?
Position and effect have no bearing in long-term projects. So you're just going to roll the skill, or so you're going to roll the action that you choose, and then if you want to add additional dice, that is entirely up to you.
I want to. I indeed want to use one of the positions.
Are you going to...
Can I use one of the positions to add a die to that?
Last time we had, I think we set a rule. We made precedent for 2 positions to include a die in a downtime action.
I'll do that because it's not like we don't have a buttload of positions up here.
You've got 5 right now, so
yeah,
we're going to update that. Okay, so go ahead and add an additional. Do you want to add another? Do you want to push yourself or potentially take a devil's bargain?
I've got enough. I've got 3 more stress and I'm absolutely bamboozled. So, pushing yourself will add 1 stress, correct? Or is it?
Yeah, it should add 1 stress in this particular case.
I'll do it. Why not? I'll push myself ever closer to madness.
Okay.
So, for an additional die there.
Okay.
And I will do it. Oh, yeah.
And that's a 6. Guess what? You progress that secret project all the way to its logical conclusion. Now, for all intents and purposes, before we talk about anything else in respect to it, why don't you tell us what that secret project actually is?
So this secret project is, what is a bower bomb without his bower bomb gadgets? And I decided to make a retractable grappling hook to make sneaking and entering places just a little bit easier for the best bottom in the game.
Did you grapple with that idea for a while?
Oh no!
That was so good. That was so good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't even know that. I didn't remember that.
This is my downtime, and I am free to do what I want.
Okay, so you now have a retractable grappling hook conceptually. There are a couple rules around crafting. We did talk about them privately. We never actually agreed onto them. So here's what I'd like to do. For this session, if it comes up, I'm just going to let you use it.
Okay.
And we'll talk about quality and crafting offline, and then we'll do those roles during the next session. That way, there are some mechanical elements of the crafting that goes into it, but for all intents and purposes today, you can use it as you would expect to, and we'll just come up with an interesting role around that. So, okay. So congratulations, you just completed your first long-term project. Good job.
I am now Spider-Man. No, I'm joking. It doesn't work like that.
You are the Bower man. You are the Bower. You are the Spire Bower. You were the Spire Bomb.
He started as the Bower Bottom, and now he's here.
Okay, so that's your first downtime action. What do you want to do with your second one?
Second one, I'm actually going to complete the Secret OC project.
How much stress do you have?
I've got a lot of stress.
You should probably indulge your vice.
I'm sure I could, but
I'm just going to make that suggestion because, and this is an important thing. If you want to continue on and you've got a score coming up,
I'm a dangerous person.
Sure, but do you really want to encounter a trauma the first time you guys have a big score?
Oh, not the first time we have a big score. Hell no. So
you definitely want to because what will happen if you max out your stress, you will be pulled out of the current situation. And whether that's incapacitated, whether that means you're kidnapped, whether it means, whatever, you will just be pulled out of that particular situation. And you will then take a trauma as well.
Well, we can't have that.
You know what we can have, though, is 10 goddamn retweets. Everyone on screen gets a free position.
Again?
Seriously, guys. Seriously. You know what? I love the love for the stream, but, this makes my job harder. So thank you, guys.
Thank you for making it harder for him.
So much love in this house.
Love you. Also, reprisals.
Reprisals. Oh. All right. So how do you want to do the reprisals then? Let's talk about that on screen.
It depends who the enemy faction is and what the move against us is. Have some homework. Suck it.
Ooh, that's a good one. All right. Bluecoats move against you.
Okay.
Your rook network yet again is causing some problems for them. So it's beginning to cause a little bit of issue. They have been caught panhandling and kind of loitering in places where in not Whitehall, in places where merchants and essentially the upper class are having problems with them. So somehow it gets back to you, that you were involved or somehow are connected to you. So you have an opportunity to kind of you have some rep a coin, one rep or one coin at them to make it go away, essentially. Mm-hmm. You can. So you would forfeit one rep or coin per tier. You can. This is reprisal. Excuse me. You can allow them to continue to harass your rook network, and your rook network will take one harm, or you can move against the bluecoats. And if you move against the bluecoats, then we have to talk about what that actually means.
Shit. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Guys, I think
what we were talking about doesn't work. For that, I don't think. I'm gonna call on a friend of mine. I'm gonna phone him by Crow or Raven or what have you.
Okay.
Jaren, he's a blue coat activist and a double agent within the City Watch. I'm going to call on him, and I'm going to forfeit one of my coins, one of my personal coins.
Okay.
I am doing it because I also need to call in a favor from him, and this is relatively convenient. Jaren, I heard that my network of friends has been causing trouble in Whitecross. Now, I would like to give you this, and he hands him over like a pouch of whatever. He says, but I need a favor. There are a group of smugglers called the Foghounds. They reside in the docks, and there is someone has become aware that they are attempting to perform some kind of score vis-a-vis Leviathan blood. This is a fallacy if I've ever heard one, and I would like your help with the old Dagger Isles shuffle. If you could put some attention on the Foghounds, just to prove to the nobles in the Leviathan business that they never had intentions of attacking any caravan or storehouse. That would help me greatly.
That was unexpected. God damn it. Okay, so he takes the coin, or he takes the bag, kind of, he starts to listen to you as he kind of digs into the silver and, gives you an acknowledgement as he pockets it. And he listens to the description or the gist of the conversation which you're trying to have with him. He says, oh, so should we be overt about it? Should we, be subtle? Should this be a public display of humility?
I think that the parties involved would like you to be fairly overt. I don't think they have any reason not to be. The Foghounds will, of course, be on their best behavior, as they have no intention of stealing anything in the next few days at least. But really, it's to assure the upper management that this was a lie at best. The Foghounds never intended any perceived slight against the hunters.
All right, consider it done. and he pats the pouch of gold or of coin. So we're going to do downtime. We're going to do the rest of downtime actions, and then I'm going to roll a fortune roll to determine the result, so that you get news back about that.
Okay, perfect.
And that way we can get back to Bowerstone, and his vice. I'm sorry. What? I didn't quite hear you there, Slade. Did you say something?
4 syllables. I'm going to let you work it out.
All right. So you're gonna indulge your vice now, right?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Do it.
So I'm going to go to the Vale.
Okay.
And have a piss up.
Okay. So on your character sheet, you will find an option to indulge your vice.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you go ahead and click that button and tell us how it goes?
Well, clicked it.
You clicked it and it didn't work.
No.
God damn it.
Maybe I should click it again.
Does anything pop up on your screen?
There we go. Now it says input value.
Gotcha, buddy.
Why does it need an input value? It should just be a decent. It should just roll.
Well, you know what? Maybe because it's polite.
There are certain things that can give you plus or minus dice to it.
Yeah, I know that, but yeah, okay.
What is that I see popping up?
What is that you see popping up? Because I'm on the wrong screen.
3,
Okay,
4.
so you did not overindulge. You cleared 4 stress, so that you take the higher number of the 2, and you clear 4 stress from your character. So that's a very good thing.
You thought something bad was going to happen.
Oh, I totally know something bad was going to happen. Let's just be honest. Okay, so you indulge. Describe what you do at the Vale to indulge your vice.
So it's been pretty stressful for him. So he's probably going to get a lot more liquored up and free than what he has been. So I'm just going to say over drinking, overeating, and you probably have a girl or two. He's just going to absolutely have a massive spend up.
So he's just basically he's going to do it up for a night or 2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you indulge your vice. You feel a little bit more relaxed after all of that, and begin to just kind of move on. And we're gonna cut to OC. What would you like to do for your downtime actions?
She's also going to indulge in her vice. It's been pretty stressful.
Oh
A
wow.
lot of people with knives, a lot of people with other things. This is her first time indulging.
Yes,
so
it is
she will
actually.
be
Yeah.
heading to one of her establishments, probably the one in Silkshore, because there were issues there. So she's probably also making it a business trip.
Okay.
Just to check in ever since they had the issue the other day.
Okay.
And take one of the courtesans, and I guess it would be somewhere between pleasure and pain.
Okay, so I have a question about this, because I know that this actually, from a narrative perspective, this actually plays into a little bit of the conflicted nature of who Nye is in your life. If Nye can't be there, does that have an effect on your ability to?
She's never with anyone else. Given her line of work, granted, it's a different person every time, but it's still Nye. Different body.
Right.
So this for her is more letting out her anger and her frustration, because handing over a bruised body is not usually acceptable, depending who you're giving it to. And also, ew.
All right, so go ahead and roll us your indulge, and let's see where you end up.
Bonus dice, I just hit submit all the way through. God damn it.
Unless you can think of a reason, or there's another, you have some special ability or something that provides that.
Can I use one of my crits to use another dice? Another die?
You can use you can definitely use a crit.
Or 2 positions, right?
Well, you can use a crit for your indulge vice roll, And if I remember correctly, I think it's 7 that it clears.
Okay, I'd like to do that.
Do you have 7 stress though? Let me ask you that.
So I have 6.
Okay, so if you did that, let me verify this real quick. But if you go over the amount of stress that you have in the roll when you indulge your vice, you get what's called overindulgence, and it has consequences.
Okay, then never mind. I'm just gonna roll then. I'm gonna roll normally.
You can take, again, as we set as a precedent, you can take 2 of your position changes and add an additional die before that. So if you'd like to do that, I suggest doing that.
I will do that. So I didn't use it because I forgot to click it. So I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Okay, sure, that's great. So you literally just clear all of your vice at this point.
Wow.
She beat the hell out of some poor new guy.
That's a pretty good roll, actually.
She's a whole new person when she comes back.
Seriously. Okay. So you go through that whole entire process and you indulge your vice and you walk away from it feeling relieved, not completely satisfied, but just relieved enough so that you feel more in control and kind of like, in one with your world, even though Nye is not there and, life is not normal for you as you would normally expect. Okay, so that's your first downtime action. What do you want to do with your second one?
She is going to finish up that secret project with Bower Bomb.
Okay, so because because the minimum roll could be 1 segment move, and there's only 1 segment left in the secret project, go ahead and describe to us what that secret project is.
So that secret project is Bower Bomb and I met a few weeks before we met the rest of the group. It was between my last big score, which I was sort of hiding out from. And I was just kind of hiding out in one of my establishments. And Bower Bomb and I I guess he was visiting one of the establishments. We became friends and we started talking about a business deal. He needed somewhere private to conduct his business as Bower Bomb. And I needed somewhere that I could hide out if something happened again, because I realized that I relied too much on my establishments. So we pretty much made a Bower Bomb cave.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The
bottom basement.
So it's a place that we both use. It's still it just finished, but no one really knows how to get in there because there were so many different entrances created and people paid off that there's only really a few ways in that we're not told to people building it.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the keys on the piano, yeah?
The old statue head with a button.
Yeah. William Shakespeare.
There's 1,000 statues in there.
Yeah. It's a statuary.
Oh god. All right. Can you describe what the actual contents of the cave are? What are the useful elements of this particular project?
I wrote it down somewhere. Hold on.
I believe it's in Discord chat.
Give me 1 second.
That's okay.
I mean, so number one is awesome.
As with the what are you calling your grapple hook? The Bower hook? The bottom hook?
Hook, line, and sinker.
That rolls off the tongue, but it doesn't really describe a...
Call it the hooker. Please call it the hooker.
It's the Bower hooker.
It's the Bower hooker. All right. Anyways, so as with the grappling hook, as a description, narratively we'll just use it if it comes into play, and then next week we will roll on screen for the specific quality and stuff like that goes along with crafting. And this is going to be treated as a crafting project. So, all right. So, go ahead.
So it's Reymond's office. There's a small library. Like an archive. There's a sort of a panic room, sleeping quarters, A large, this is very specific from Bowerbomb, a large wardrobe for his costumes. A hot tub, goddammit, Slade is what I wrote in there.
How? Yes. Hot
And
tub.
one room which Reymond does not have access to. It is specifically OC's room.
There's the off limits.
Okay.
And if I go in there, she will kill me.
I can only
That's
see.
confusing. Okay, so with all that, well, like I said, we'll do the rolls next week and we'll figure all that out. But okay, so that's a completion of a second project. So that completes your second downtime action. Nyx.
So Nyx is going to have a stern discussion with the Rook Network. Gentlemen, if you recall the last time I had to come down here and have this conversation with you, one of you had several broken bones and was out of, let's say, commission for weeks at a time. Now, today was a great day. Tonight, today, one of the two, was great. I had a lot of good work done today. I am quite relieved. I'm quite joyous, if you can't tell by the smile on my face. So today I will spare you the beating of a lifetime. However, I have a task for you. And know that if you do this again, and this is a third conversation, there will be an opening. If you catch my drift. In fact, there may be two. One inside you, and one here in this crew. But for now, there is an establishment that has been home to someone who has piqued my interest. One of your lot, a friend of mine, if you will, has been assaulted, or several have been assaulted, inside the night market. Now, I know you know nothing about this, and most of the people there are too scared to talk about it, but there is a Taikarosi woman asking about it. Discolored veins, all that. There is another one. I believe them to be the same one. I'm smart like that, that's why I'm in charge of you. Now, I believe that this is the same person, and this same person has been seen coming and going from a shop called Donovan's. Also in the night market. Now I want a survey done on that. I want you to watch it like a hawk. I want you to find this Taikarosi woman, and I want to know what she does. And why is she looking into the death or brutal beatings of people in the night market? And why has she involved the lost? That bothers me. Those are troublesome layabouts. Now, should you find anything interesting in your pursuit of this woman, anything that should pique my interest in Donovan's or its activities outside of this Taikarosi woman, it could spare a beating in the future. For, was it you, I said, the two holes thing? Yes, you. Could spare him a beating. Gerald, was it? I don't care. You could spare him a beating. So, on with you. You are muted.
In that voice.
So this is a long-term project then.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say that.
Okay, because I mean, you could do this as a research project or an investigation in free play, and it might net different results, but it's probably not going to be as thorough as if you do a project.
Yeah,
So
I would do a project. I want a thorough situation here.
Okay. So you're using the Rook network.
Yeah.
How do you want to roll this? Because it seems like this is not like you're actively out there doing this with him. This is more like a command kind of a thing.
Right. Yeah. So I would, I assume that I would roll command for that.
Okay, so it is the kind of thing where you're issuing a command, go do this while I take care of something else over here.
Yeah. I have other shit to do.
Okay.
So what I would like to do, so I believe so you can play this however you want, but I currently have, because I made a deal and I was very nice to the homeless in Night Market, you gave me one free die to use when using the rooks in Night Market.
Yep.
Okay, so would that apply here?
Yep.
Okay. Now, is that a one-time deal?
Yes, that is a one-time
Okay,
deal.
cool. I just want to make sure I mark that off my sheet. Cool. So I'm going to roll command. Now, would you say this is risky, controlled?
This is a long-term project, so that doesn't apply. Position does not apply, and effect does not apply.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Only the addition of die at the end.
Okay. Cool. So I have 1 bonus die because this is happening in the night market.
Yep.
Now, I have 1 die because I'm using the crew. Is that correct?
So this would be let's call it that. Yeah.
And then we have 1 die because they're an elite rook squad.
Yep.
Okay, so that's 3 die currently. And I'm going to use the free Devil's Bargain from Sweetie as my donation.
Oh my god.
To make it 4 dice.
This is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and because we're 2 hours in and I still have, 6 positions, I'm going to cash in 2 of my positions and make that 5 dice.
Oh my god.
And ka-chow! 2 6s, crit, suck it. I'm the best. I am a golden god.
All right.
Luis, I know you're in chat. I'm sorry. I love you and your goats. Don't worry, I don't want to hurt you.
Well, that happened.
He totes wants the goats.
I'm gonna totes your goats.
You're gonna what?
Don't worry about it.
I am flabbergasted. I did not expect you to get a crit. I was going to make it a 4 o'clock as I was trying to set it up. So, or a 4-segment clock. Shit. All right. Okay. So your rooks spread out, and they begin to do their thing, sort of investigating and digging into the circumstances surrounding this mysterious Taikarosi woman who had engaged the Lost. And what you come to find is that she is a frequent visitor of Donovan's. Some information that you've already had. However, it appears that that appears to be her base of operations, her home, her whatever she's doing. Everything she seems to be doing happens to be coming out of that. And you find out a little bit more information about the business itself, Donovan's. It exchanged hands recently in the last couple of years, or relatively speaking. Speedy can clarify that at some point. But since the exchange of hands going from the previous ownership to the current ownership, business has gotten pretty quiet. And what I mean by that is so normalized that it's almost nondescript, which seems a little odd given that it's in not only the night market, but it's also in Hive territory. This is your turf. The Donovan's happens to be inside of your turf, so you get a little, bit of insight into what's going on there. The Taikarosi woman's name appears to elude them at first, but eventually comes back, and you get an idea that her name is Sling. Sling likes to spend a lot of time when she is not at Donovan's and she is not appearing to be tasked with anything. She likes to spend a lot of time around the rail yards. I'm sorry, Louise. There's a lot to be conveyed here.
It's not like you're gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about how much I should give you without it being
everything.
Well, you could also, I know it was a crit, but you could also roll a fortune, because he did say if you find any interesting information about Donovan's, that could save him from getting several holes put in his body.
Well, so for the crit, what I wanted to give you was just enough information about Sling, and then I wanted to give you just enough information about the proprietor of Donovan's without mentioning Sky's name.
Right.
Because it's one thing for you to target specifically the Taikarosi woman and have that information come back to you. It's another thing for me to. It feels what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to not step on the bounds of his ability to freely move or make decisions.
That could also be a later roll to find out more about who she's
Shh. Shit. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll tell you what. That's what you find out about Sling. I want to talk to Speedy real quick off stream, and I will give you either more information privately and we can share it later, or we can do that. He and I can have a quick conversation in Discord while something else is going on, and I can reveal a little bit more details for you. So you find a ton of information out. You get a lot of details
Cool.
about Sling and get some information about Donovan's. So incredibly successful long-term project. I mean, you basically just blew it out of the water since it was going to be a 4-segment. And with that, that's your first downtime action. What do you want to do with your second free downtime action?
So one question I have,
sure,
because we have a description of this Ari girl from OC, did the Rook Network or the homeless in Knight's Market ever see her entering or exiting Donovan's?
I'll tell you what.
That was a question last week that we said we were gonna.
It was a question last week that you said.
Remember, I cornered him. I asked him in the Vale and asked if he could help me with that. Yeah. I asked him for a favor. I said, now that we're beginning to trust each other, I have a favor for you.
So I would have given the, and I can flash back if you want. I would have given the Rook Network her description. Just, Bolo, I have jobs for you, but if you happen to see this woman, I'd like to know of her whereabouts.
Well, so what I was going to say is rather than getting very specific and having a quick conversation with Speedy, what I will say instead is that the crit gives you information that Sling spends quite a good deal of time there at Donovan's, that Ari has also been noted as spending quite a fair amount of time at Donovan's.
That works perfectly.
And you get the description of 2 other individuals, one matching the proprietor, though no name, of Donovan's, and another quite a large Scovelin fellow.
Okay, cool. That works perfectly.
And that's what the crit gives you. You're welcome, Trindane. I just want you to know that.
And a large Scovelin man, but also no name.
Yeah, also no name.
All
just
right, cool.
you see essentially you get the description of Sky and Grin without it revealing their names.
Cool. So then for his second downtime activity, when OC had gone to Silkshore that was that one establishment, correct?
That's correct.
That same one, OC?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is the one in Silkshore, yep.
Yeah, he would have asked her for a favor. My dear, I have you asked me for assistance in something, and I mean to make good on a deal. You have a friend, or lack thereof, in your establishment in Silkshore. Could you send him to one of these rooms? And he points to one of the rooms in Eden.
She's been drinking, obviously, and is in a good mood. She's in good spirits when she comes back. He no longer works there, but I can easily have a friend fetch him.
Yes, I have a hankering for indulgence.
May I watch?
From a distance, I have no problem.
Done. And she'll go and leave, get in a carriage, and go to one of the establishments and have them get him off the street. Just pull him off the street.
Okay.
Yeah, so if he comes back to Eden, similar to Professor Valen, he's going to bring him down to one of the lesser used rooms. Or actually, you know what? Better yet, he's going to have OC bring him down. And he's going to be splayed out, shirt unbuttoned, as if he's receiving this male courtesan, this courtesan, if you will. And he closes the door, or he motions for the young man to close the door, and he says, "Now, my dear, I hear that you're the timid type. Do you?"
Oh man!
It's a guy.
I am not role playing.
No, you're not gonna. No. So yes,
stop. We want fan art, and you're being real selfish
I know.
right now.
Owlbear is gonna draw this. So he says, "I hear you're the timid type.
Fine.
Now tell me, young man, do you scream?"
He looks at you and is kind of. he's pensive at first, and his eyes kind of dart around. Yes, sir.
Good, good. I like to hear them scream. It's kind of my thing. Now, and he like gets up across the room, like sachets across the room, and he like pats the boy on the shoulder and like rubs his arm, and then click, click, and locks the door. And he says, "Now, as you can see, there's no bed in here, so I hope you don't mind a little rough. I know that you have a friend, a girl that was once working in OC's establishment, a friend of yours named Ari, correct?"
At the name of Ari, he gets really uncomfortable.
Good, good, good.
And he's
like
just
how jumpy you are. The goosebumps, and he like runs a finger down his arm, and he takes off Bowerstone's jacket and like neatly folds it on a like the only thing in here is like a couch and a table, and then he like takes off one of his rings and clink puts it down the table. He says, "Now tell me about your friend Ari. How did you meet her?" And he pulls off another ring, clank.
I already told OC this.
As beautiful as I am, my good boy, I am not OC, so please tell me how you know this Ari character.
She came in. She came into she came into her establishment. And she asked a couple of questions, and she gave me a little bit of advice.
What
and
was
it was
advice?
Wonderful. He gets uncomfortable and just kind of that to do this business, I need to be me. But
is this you currently?
Yes.
Good. I like this version of you, your face especially. Now, what did she ask for in exchange? No one gives free information. Trust me, information is my game and my currency. Now, no one just gives you a pleasant advice and helps you with your day and then leaves. She asks for something. Tell me what it is. And he pulls off another ring.
She had a couple questions about OC.
Oh?
Just where she was, what was going on at the establishment.
Mm-hmm.
And none of it's secrets. None of it's the comings and goings of OC and those who help her in the businesses. And he gets really uncomfortable as he realizes he's probably divulging too much given the exchange that he had with OC. I really don't want to talk about this. This is not without OC being here.
Now
it's really her thing.
Do me this favor then. And he
she's watching, by the way.
Yeah.
With Nye. They're watching in a peephole.
But does he know that she's watching?
The guy, no.
Yeah, okay.
Nix knows.
Well, sure.
He puts out his arm and like grabs onto this boy's arm, and he says, "Now do me this favor. Now swear to me that you have told me all of the truth, or you will tell me. Better yet, tell me that you will tell me all of the truth you have, all of the information you have told this Ari character, and anything other ill will you're harboring against OC or her beautiful friend Nye. Tell me that right now."
You say you grabbed his arm. How did you grab it?
Like this. Like in a
wrist
arm,
to wrist,
like an arm handshake, like like a soldierly or sailor kind of handshake gesture. Yes, I'm doing that.
He gets a little uncomfortable and he starts to pull away because he thinks that you're starting to get rough with him. Right? He gets just really uncomfortable with the idea of you touching him like that, like being rough with him. So he starts to pull. Of course I will let my arm go. Of course I'll tell. Why wouldn't I?
And as he says, "Of course I'll tell," you see a shadow cast over Nyx, and the shadow slowly moves from Nyx and onto Clave. And there on Clave's neck is a small tick mark. And another tick mark appears in an identical spot on Nyx. And he says, good, then a deal has struck. And I assume if I ask you any more questions about this, you'll be absolutely truthful. Now, what did you tell Ari about OC?
I talked mostly about... This is really uncomfortable. I explained about how Nye was mean. And how he gets just incredibly flustered and frustrated, and he's starting the fight or flight, instinct is really starting to kick in, and he's just starting to panic, and his body is starting to sweat a little bit. And so as you still have like a hold on his arm, it begins to feel a little clammy as his perspiration begins to come out, and he's kind of wriggling back. He's like, I talked about Nye, how she was mean to me, how I didn't feel it was fair, that she didn't trust me. I don't know what you really want. I told OC everything.
And I have your word that you told OC everything.
Everything that I remember, yes.
I have looking into the mirror, like looking into a mirror. Can I tell that he's telling the truth?
Yes, you can tell that he is telling the truth.
That he told us everything.
That he believes he told you everything.
Okay. Do you have a way to convey that to Nyx?
You just hear giggling to the wall.
All right. So he smiles
What?
and he says,
What was that? Who's watching?
The walls creak, my dear boy. Now, if you could... Now, I know I asked you if you like it rough, but sometimes I do as well. And he takes off like the last ring on his other hand, and he says, now what I want you to do is ball your fist, put your arm back as far as it can go, and I want you to strike me.
This is not pleasure.
For you, I didn't pay you for your pleasure.
And he looks at you hesitantly. Do you still have a hold of his other arm?
You know what? I'll let go of that one arm.
Okay. So, and you had a hold. It was did you hold his right or his left arm?
My right, his right. Yeah, so across.
So across.
Yep.
He pulls back. He pushes himself against the wall. I don't want to do this. This is not. And he looks incredibly uncomfortable. He's looking for a way out. He's frantically searching the room, looking for a way out at this point.
Nyx reaches through to the Bowerstone jacket, and he pulls out a chain with a key, and he says, "This is the only way out. And until I get what I want, you stay here with me."
What's in the room?
There's a couch and a table.
And that's it.
Other than that, that's it.
There's a couch and a table.
The table has all of his rings and the Bowerstone jacket on it.
Okay. So he's frantically looking around, and he's incredibly uncomfortable trying to figure out what the escape is. And when you show him the key, there's a slight change in his eyes, and he realizes that he's got to acquiesce, at least to some degree, to what you want in order to be able to escape. And he slowly raises his hand, and he looks at it, and he grips her fist. Why do you want me to hit you?
Boy, you work in a pleasure den. I have paid good coin for you, or at least I have paid my friend for good coin for you, and I am looking for pleasure. This is mine. Now do as you're told, or you get no coin, and your boss will be dismayed.
He looks around, and he throws the punch, but it is an incredibly weak punch.
Nyx takes it. So wherever he threw it, he takes it intentionally. I assume he goes for the face because he's trying.
He goes for he essentially tries to hit you on your left cheek.
Yeah, so he just accepts it and then licks the little bit of blood away, and he says, "Good, now we can begin." And I'm going to indulge in my vice.
Okay.
And as soon as I lick the blood off my lip, I cock my hand back and drive it into his chest. And I'm going to be beating the shit out of him everywhere but his face.
Okay. Why don't you roll your indulgence, and let's see how brutal of a beating he takes.
So, describe to me overindulgence, out of curiosity.
Overindulgence is the circumstance with which, when you indulge your vice, if you roll over the amount of stress that you have, it introduces complications based on whatever it is that your vice is and whatever action you took as a part of your vice. So, for example, if you were a drug addict and your vice is lure or some other type of drug, overindulgence could mean you overdosed and now suffer one harm, or you overindulged, overdosed, and you had to deal with some other consequence. Like, for example, because lure is made from Leviathan blood and you were hallucinating, you may have accidentally attuned to the ghost field and attract the attention of a vengeful spirit or somebody or another or a spirit that likes to possess. So in this particular case, there's a number of things that can happen if you overindulge. You could mistakenly beat his face. You could mistakenly kill him. You could take a beating yourself. Like, he could find some, measure of, self-worth and come back with, whatever confidence, that Ari instilled in him and make you feel just as badly as he does.
Okay. So, I'm going to roll my indulgence.
Okay.
Where the hell is that button?
That button is just under your vice.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Indulge vice.
Yep.
Cool. So how many dice am I rolling for this?
You are rolling whatever is stipulated, unless... So essentially, it should be just 1d6, unless there's additional dice. Unless you want to add to it.
No, I think he's going to roll the one die.
Okay.
To cure himself of some ailment, he's going to relieve some stress with this.
Okay.
So 5.
How much indulgence? How much vice did you have?
I have 6.
You are perfectly fine. You were never going to overindulge anyways because you had 6.
So, despite the lack of overindulgence, OC is watching the entire time, and it's like the scene from Fight Club when he's fighting Jared Leto, except not the face, because his face is pretty. And once he feels the stress drain from his body, he looks up to OC and sees her little eyes peeking through the window, and he nods to her, mounts the kid on the floor, and continues to beat the shit out of him.
That's not where I thought that sentence was going.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna do this real quick. I assume this is controlled and standard. And I'm going to kill Clav. Everywhere but the face.
Remember, drink PG tips. It's lovely with all your games.
As he dies, she's just going to hug Nye. And then walk back upstairs and leave him alone.
So...
Killed him.
Let me guess. Let me get this straight. You were going to hug Nye while she's in Inspector Aldo's form.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it an intimate thing, or is it
it's more like consolation.
Consolation. Okay. All right. So what does it look like when you kill this kid?
The beating, or what does he look like after the fact?
What is the killing blow?
The killing blow is probably he's lower down, sitting on him, and he just hammer fists his chest, and it collapses a lung and breaks his sternum. The more important part is what he does after the fact.
Well,
He drops Clav off at Donovan's.
Oh, message has been sent.
Be so bad.
I'm going to be honest. I don't even know how to react to that. That's insane. Okay.
A friend of mine asked for a favor. I agreed. Speedy.
I'm sorry, guys. That was funny. All right. Wow. Okay. You drop the body at Donovan's, taking no preparation whatsoever. Like,
no. I mean, he would probably, you know what? Yeah, he would probably talk to Bowerstone, and get some kind of, I don't fucking know, Bower mask. Not the Bower mask, but whatever mask. I'm sure he's got some handy.
I've got a Twiggy mask.
OC's got a mask for you.
I'm sure OC has some GIMP masks. I'm sure we could cobble one together. But he doesn't want his face shown, but that's the only precaution he takes.
And an unmarked carriage.
Yeah, we don't own a carriage, so really any carriage will do at this point in time.
okay. So, I assume I'm gonna narrate this a little bit, and make a couple of assumptions. Correct me if I'm wrong. So as you prepare the body, I assume that you don't really do anything else but protect your identity, wrap the body in such a way that it's easy to transport, and then hail a cab to take you to the night market and dump it.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you do that and you bring the body up, does anybody else help you bring the body up, or is this the kind of thing that where Nyx is going to do his own work?
Nyx would do his own work. He was asked for a favor, so that's what he's doing.
Okay, so as you're hailing for the cab, the cabbie shows up, sees that you're carrying a bundle, and mentions that that's extra to transport, to do something necessarily illicit. Do you have him picked up at? Do you get the pickup at Eden, or do you go someplace else?
Yeah, he would go someplace else. Only because we had trepidation before about bringing people to Eden.
Okay.
So he would probably when meeting OC for the first time, he led her on an entire back alley tour of Six Towers. So he knows the alleyways fairly decently here. He would probably bring him to a nondescript back alley.
With a bag of her, like something so you can't see it, obviously. Yeah.
Sure.
And he would have had a bag going, not that it matters now.
Okay. So as you make your way through the alleyways of Six Towers, between some of the old decrepit mansions, and some that are turned into tenement housing, and you can hear, the various songs and, carry-ons of close quarter living, during the night. You find yourself in a position behind an alley, hailing a cabbie, and of course, it's going to cost extra coin to go where you need to go, transporting illicit or suspicious items. As you're beginning to load the body into the cab, you hear off in the distance a cawing sound way off in the distance, which you know now to be the sound of the Deathseeker crows, kind of spreading out looking for the dead bodies. And so off in the distance, you hear it just kind of circling and starting to come a little bit closer. You load the body into the cab, making your way through Six Towers directly to Night Market, and always in the distance, over the clopping sound of the goats' hooves, running across the cobblestone, and the wheels, kind of making their way through the grooves on the cobblestones. You hear the Deathseeker crows always in the distance. And as the cabbie kind of pulls up to the specified location, do you go directly to Donovan's, or do you do it in such a way that you stop from a distance and then deliver the body on foot?
Yeah, he would do the same thing that he did in Six Towers. He would have the cabbie stop at a certain place. He would offload. He would drag the body to the doorstep of Donovan's, obviously when no one's around, and then he would just walk back to. Actually, he would walk nowhere. He would drop the body off, go down a nondescript alley in Night Market. I'm sure there's a bunch of stalls around. Remove the precautionary masks and prepare for his meeting with the Hive.
Okay. So you drop the body off. at the doorstep of Donovan's. Not very many people around. It's late at night. You hear a little bit of goings on inside, but nothing that you can make out. And as you're moving on, you begin to hear the cawing of the crows, Deathseeker crows, getting closer and closer. And as you make your way, towards the meeting location for the hive, you can hear that they're starting to make a little bit more of a racket. I'm going to roll a fortune roll because I want to determine the result of what happens to something off-scene that will play out later. But I do want to let everybody know that I'm doing that. And I'm just going to roll a 1d6 to find out exactly what happens.
Sounds good.
This is probably the darkest episode we've had yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You are welcome.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the second downtime action that you took. Nix, you have 3 downtime action, or you have an additional 3 downtime action that you can pass out to anybody or take yourself. Or do you want to use that?
Yeah, I used them out of order, but yeah, he would have cultivated his. Man, I don't know. He would have attempted to cultivate his asset, while simultaneously dropping the clues about the caravan. He would have spoken to the unnamed Red Sash guy we have. Yeah, he essentially would have, just to speed things up, I'm not going to do the fancy voice, he would have given him just enough of the information that the Red Sashes could act on the caravan. That here's the route, it's passing through here. There's supposedly I think it was like 20 Marines guarding the caravan itself, 40 at the dock. Here's where it's going. Enough information that it can sound like he picked it up in the streets, so that he kind of gains some clout within the sashes. And I guess I would roll sway for that.
Either that or consort, one or the other.
It's 6 on one, half dozen on the other. I'll roll consort because that's my favorite one.
I'm assuming if we're all there, does that help you?
Well, this is part of my downtime. This is just the Red Sash
Okay.
kid. This isn't the hive thing. So would that be controlled?
Yeah.
Oh wait,
no.
This is an asset thing.
Downtime project, yeah.
Right.
It's a downtime, or it's a long-term project, so yeah.
Right. So I'm not going to roll any bonus dice. I'm just going to kick it.
Okay.
5.
Okay, so that advances it 2 more. Whoop, no, don't go to random, damn it. So that's going to make it... So in the exchange, when you provide this information, his eyes get incredibly wide. And he has one question for you. And I'm going to ask you that question just so that I have some context about how things go whenever this score actually gets... and whenever this event actually happens in the game world. And he's going to ask, why are you helping the Red Sashes? Because that's what to him, that's what he's seeing.
So, Johnny, this is a question for you. How much do I trust this kid? How useful has he been? How loyal to me does he seem?
Well, you're cultivating this guy as a long-term asset. He's incredibly excited about the relationship because he gets coin from you and he gets coin from the Red Sash. But he's, there has been nothing negative that has come out of this relationship so far.
Cool. Then he's going to look at him since he's only been useful so far. And he says, "My dear boy, I don't care for the Red Sashes at all. You are a mere convenience here. Now, that doesn't mean I wish you any ill will. However, it does mean when, and I say when, the Red Sashes fall, I'll have a new home for you in another organization where you can assist me there as well. So, take this information, spin a yarn as best you can to not get yourself in trouble. Finding a replacement is a great inconvenience to me, but I want you to gain as much coin as you possibly can and make yourself the best bandit you can be, as long as you are my bandit. Are we clear?"
He shakes his head and says yes. And his eyes gleam even more as he realizes that you have a long-term use for him. Because he likes your coin.
That works.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it for his downtime actions.
Okay. So, with all of that, a ton of shit has happened in downtime. We're now moving into free play. It sounds like originally I thought that there was a different thing that you wanted to do, but now you want to do You were going to go after the score, but now it sounds like you want
as
to
far
do
as
the meeting.
as far as I understood, the Lamp Black meeting was yesterday. The
That's
Hive
right.
meeting is today, and
That's
then
correct.
from the day we had the Lamp Black meeting, the caravan was like 2 days away. So
Right.
in order, it should be Lamp Black, Hive, caravan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So the arrangement for the Lamp Black meeting goes incredibly easy. All of that. The arrangement for the Hive is a much different set of circumstances.
Right.
It is not only just a matter of back and forth in negotiation, it is also a matter of being conveniently away from the primary forms of business for the legitimate aspects of what the Hive is. So they actually want to meet with you in Silkshore at a neutral location, meaning they don't want to be at OC's establishment. They actually want to meet you in a park, and they want it to be as nondescript as possible. So there is a concert going on. Let me get the name of the actual park. Give me just a second. It is. Oh my God, that is a terribly ridiculous name for. It is Onkyant Park. Oh, wait a minute. Is that the park? No. Yes, that's exactly where it is. So it's Onkyant Park, and it is one of the more open areas inside of Silkshore. It faces the lightning barriers, and so there is this weird purple illumination that kind of dances over on top of all of the lamps that are actually lit all around the park, and there are various settings. And what's going on right now there appears to be a music event happening with a number of folk groups that come from around the Isles of Arkros. An Aruvian folk group, a Tycherosi folk group, a Skovlin folk group. Even music from the Dagger Isles is being presented there, and it's the kind of thing where this is one of those few cases where the patrons of Silkshore are more than just those seeking the darker points of pleasure, and so it's almost like there are families kind of situated in between, but it's more of like a picnic setting. And so you were suggested to meet at a very particular tree and have essentially a parlay in full view of everybody else when this actually happens. So how do you want to approach going to this particular meeting?
So everyone would be here. I think it would. He probably would suggest that it be Reymond, given the circumstances, given where it is.
I was almost wanting to suggest that we scope it out like a couple hours before we even go there. Know a layout type thing.
Yeah.
Well, so Reymond, in this particular case, and this would also be play into OC. Both of you would be probably very familiar for different reasons with this location, right? There are a number of events that happen in Silkshore at the two. There's a park, and then there's another park. This one happens to be more of the entertainment elements are more music and a theater kind of a situation. The other park is more there are elements of the fantastic that happen over there that are like acrobats, and there are these beautiful gliders that that can take some of the arc energy or the lightning energy from the lightning barriers and use it to propel themselves, and there's all kinds of craziness that goes along with that. But in this particular park, you would have come here as a child with your family to see the theater or something like that. And then I think for OC, she would have, being the type of person that she is and from a business perspective, had at least some experience coming to this park, scoping it out, looking for various elements of how it might benefit her and her business outside of any of her brothels kind of a thing. So
What if OC went in disguise as
Okay.
just like a little bit of an older woman
Okay.
who would just be walking around hanging around the park?
Do you have a disguise kit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I also have an ability in case I need it.
No, that's fine. I'm not. I'm just asking for for clarification purposes. So does that mean? So what type of disguise is this older person? I mean, are we talking like a noble? Are we talking?
Yeah, like a noble older woman whose kids would probably go to the park.
Okay.
So it would make sense that she would live in the area and be wandering the streets.
Okay. So what about is Nye accompanying you in the body of Inspector Aldo?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right.
She's on demon duty.
Right. Which you guys still haven't dealt with. Okay. So this,
Yet.
I'm assuming that this is going. Yeah, exactly. I'm assuming that this is going to be a social engagement that you guys are going for in respect to a school.
Similar to the Lamplock situation.
Okay. And so the relationship that, or the communication that you guys had established previously with the contact that you had talked to before, that person would be essentially the point of contact for this whole thing.
I think I had. What was his name? I think I wrote that down. The guy who doesn't like my accent
at all.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Everyone.
Everyone. That's fair.
Let me go back and look at the notes real quick.
I didn't take notes. I don't think. I guess it's not super important what his name was.
It is important enough that I would like to be able to remember his name. If
Sure.
I used it before. Yeah, it's not here in my notes. Okay, so we're gonna call him. Let me look at the list of names real quick. We're gonna call him Timoth. So Timoth is your engagement or your social contact for this whole thing. And so from there, it sounds like we know what OC's loadout is going to be. Are you the two of you, or are you coming as Bowerbaum, or are you coming as Reymond?
Reymond.
Okay.
But in saying that, I want to have some equipment on me.
Okay. In one of your lesser cloaks, or sorry, your lesser jackets, since your primary jacket was taken by
I'm
Nick's.
sure I've got a wardrobe.
To be fair, he gave it to me.
Well, you have a full wardrobe now that we have established that.
Oh.
Right, and it's also in Silkshore, so.
And since it's Wednesday, I'm going to be using a lovely green jacket to go with the outdoors.
I just picture you trying to camouflage laying in the grass in this huge fucking
Don't look at
Okay, he's doing like
trench
he's
coat.
holding the jacket on, and he's like another one. Dark green or light green?
Okay, Nick, what about your loadout?
He has the same loadout almost every time.
I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, he's got his cover. He's got a bunch of things that don't cost anything. He has a blade or two. In his lower back, he has his unusual weapon, which is a hook. And he has his he has miscellaneous documents for whatever the hell is necessary at the time.
Okay. All right. So that's loadout. That's the planning. So let's go ahead and go roll with an engagement roll, and we will end on the engagement roll because we're getting so close to the end in respect to time, because this could actually go on a pretty long time. So
Sure.
The time is nigh. Carry on.
That was the best one I've heard from you this entire session.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's not like I've got like a list written down.
Whip about. The
It's
list.
not the
The
list, I mean.
on stream.
I'm not acknowledging the two of you. You two are terrible. Well, we may have enough time. Hold on. Let's see how this goes. Okay. All right. So engagement. 1d6 for luck. What do you guys want to throw my direction in respect to what you think?
So we already have a neutral. So actually, we already have a slightly more than neutral stance of them, as they are the ward boss of Night Market, and we already pay up to them. We already pay them a tithe. Plus, the interaction went fairly well between Nyx and that guy.
Okay, so that's it sounds like for the friend in contact, That's an additional die because of the success of that first interaction. That'll give you an additional die as well.
That's all I can think of. Anyone else? So Reymond is Reymond, right?
Yeah, so I'm wondering if,
So I'm bringing a noble to the meeting.
yes, you know, status.
So,
So act like one.
well, merchants. So
It's not happening.
noble families are different than the merchants, right?
Right.
So
But they do
that-
carry some kind of clout in the city.
They do, but merchants are considered are considered the new wealthy, right?
Okay.
So there might be some conflict there. I'm not going to say it's a positive or a negative.
Sure.
So we're not going to add anything there. I'm wondering if plans detail exposes a vulnerability to the target. No. Not a strong approach. No. Okay, we're just going to go 3, and we'll start there.
Okay.
$36. Wow. RNG is in your favor tonight. Okay. You go to the established location, which is under quite a large, old, tree of some kind. It looks to be, a couple of 100 years old. It's definitely a well-known landmark in the park, and radiates just slightly with a little. There's a little bit of a luminescence coming from the leaves just above. So on top of the purple glow of the lightning barrier that essentially faces to the south of you, and the illumination that's provided along the pathways by the various electric lamps. Electroplasmic lamps that are kind of lining the different walkways through the park. This tree sort of has this yellowish kind of a warm glow coming from the leaves. And so as it illuminates down onto you as you're kind of just beginning to assemble at the specified location, you get a sense of a warm sense of, that there's something right about this, that it just gives you that circumstance of feeling, very confident and comfortable. And so as you're beginning to just kind of take in the situation, and you begin to hear the music playing you hear the music playing in the background. And right now it's a Scoveland folk group who's just, singing the tunes that appeared after the Unity War ended, talking about the how much the people love being a part of the Imperium. It's very much a politically charged song, but it's definitely propaganda. You see one lone figure, a rather short fellow in a long coat, approaching you, and as he gets closer, you recognize him as Timoth. And Timoth just kind of steps up and immediately sits down cross-legged and says, just kind of waves in front of you to kind of sit and join him in this setting. And as he doesn't even wait for you to start to sit down, he pulls a flask, quite a large flask full of some sloshing liquid in the container, and puts out 4 glasses or 4 cups on the ground as he begins to kind of pour as each of you begin to sit down. And he says,
he sits and immediately clears his throat and says, Timoth, in his fake accent, because he asked to never hear that again.
He can finish his pouring as he looks at you as you say that, and he immediately picks up. He grabs his cup and he picks it up and he says, "First, to start business, a toast." And he acknowledges your exchange of not using your accent, he says, so, your proposition,
Yes.
have anything changed?
What did I offer you previously? Yes, a great many things have changed. First of all, the most important of which is what do you know? I mean, I assume more than I, at least I hope so. What do you know of the situation in Crowsfoot? We spoke of it before, the lamp blacks, the red sashes, and the crows. You were particularly distraught at the mention of the crows.
Crows are bad for business.
Right.
But that's not what I asked you.
You asked me if things had changed. With myself,
Yes.
no. And like you can see that he's like holding his glass and all of his knuckles are bruised.
Mm-hmm.
He says business is going quite well. There have been wheelings and or dealings, if you know what I mean. Who is with me? Is it just Bowerstone? Okay,
No, OC was...
OC's doing old lady things.
She's an old lady walking around with her sword cane, just kind of like sitting on a bench nearby, like yelling at
Taking
kids
in the
as they go
music?
by. No,
Taking in
just
the
yelling at
propaganda.
kids as they go by.
Get off my lawn. This is a park, lady.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he says, I have brought my business associate, Reymond, here to discuss, well, business. Now, we had met previously and you had asked me what I wanted and my answer was insufficient, so let's say I want power. I have some, I want more. You know of my flotilla, I had mentioned that previously. In it, I was due to take it over and have all of the power of my family. Now I have none. Here I am. I want it back. I want, well, more of it. Who doesn't these days? Now, what I am planning is something in Crowsfoot that could benefit us both greatly. Now, I know you have a disheartening hatred for the crows. As you said, they're bad for business. I have a feeling it's not just that, but I am very interested in helping you eliminate the crows. A thorn in your side is a thorn in my side.
He listens to this for a second and realizes that there is a slight change in your disposition. And he takes you all in as you are speaking. And he looks over at Reymond when you mention Reymond. And Reymond, he takes you in as well and realizes that you're more than just a person of wealth. You actually are, you really are a noble person, given the way that you carry yourself, the fact that you've got an emblem on your jacket, and he looks really pleased with the changes that he sees in you. It's almost like a little bit of pride in that in the short period of time since the last time he saw you, which was only 2 days ago, there's a disposition change. You were incredibly enthusiastic, but you were overwhelmingly enthusiastic, like you were almost reaching a little bit. And he sees something different in that. And you see this play all across his face because he's not hiding it from you, right? He's just, you can see that he's thinking about it. And he says, "Oh, that's quite interesting. Yeah, the crows are bad for business for us. We could use Crowsfoot. It would make an interesting addition to our relationships in the outlying areas, in the outlying districts."
What if...
Wait, let me finish.
Oh, go on. And he sips his drink.
However, there is a bit of a blood feud as well. So their elimination, that would be incredibly important to one particular person. And he shakes his head a little bit as if he disagrees with what he's about to tell you. He says, there is a certain blood feud under the circumstances. You know being from where we're from,
Mm-hmm.
that blood feuds are... And he hesitates for a second because he looks over at Reymond and he doesn't know how much Reymond actually knows about you. And he says, "There's serious business. But we'd like specifically to see the leader, whoever that," and he shakes his head, "that woman can we'd like to see her. We'd like to see her gone, even more than the crows. So, if you're willing to help, sounds like a business relationship can be established.
Now,
It's good for business, but it's also will endear you to one
now
of us."
I am more than willing to help. However, I had something just a little bit different in mind. Something that benefits you more than you previously thought. And perception would be that it benefits me not at all, as I prefer to remain in the shadows until such time as it is necessary that I am brought to light. However, what if instead of you running Crowsfoot, as you already run the fine establishments here in the night market, you ran the crew who ran Crowsfoot?
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not even mean to imply that we wanted the district itself.
Oh.
We just want control.
Oh, perfect.
However that's achieved, we're fine.
Now, your considerable resources could be put to use, and we could maneuver in such a way, vis-a-vis chess, if you will, our position on the board, or a Ruvian tack, given the location. If we control who wins this turf war, eliminating, of course, your crows, an annoyance on your side, and Valaris has been over-slithering his bounds. I believe he has dealings with the Red Sashes. He hasn't been too quiet about them, but we could eliminate them as well and position the Lampblacks. Now, I say the Lampblacks because they are a brutish force of idiots, and they could provide cover for any of your dealings that go through Crowsfoot, as it is quite a central location. And heavy hitters. Convenient as a smokescreen.
Once the Lamplighters Guild used to be a worthy venture, but now they're all brutes and thugs and ruffians. For that's the current, I guess if you can call him leader, as that's his disposition. He seeks to win Crowsfoot by fighting with fists. You and I both know fists are not useful enough.
Well, that's where we step in. What was his name again? I'm sorry. Timoth. And he says, "Now, Timoth, like a good salesman, though I am not, but I'm sure you and your friends are, that's not the only offer on the table. The Lampblacks have a friend with foghounds, smugglers, small time, that are currently being harassed by another small-time smuggling operation. Now, they don't seem to be much bother to you or I or even the Lampblacks, but the Lampblacks have some kind of nostalgia, I don't know, for the foghounds. There is currently something in the works, in the way of the noble houses losing some pieces. But you backing the foghounds could raise them from their squalor. Them being raised could assist the Lampblacks in just the right way, with a little pressure from myself and my friends." And he kind of just motions to like Reymond and then to nothing. And he says, "And that could bring them the advantage they need to overtake the Red Sashes and assist us in taking down the Crows. So you would not only control 2 districts at that time, but a crew in a third, as well as have my services. Of course, in exchange for turf, power, and information, so I can continue to be of service."
I've heard some interesting things about the Foghounds lately. It's curious that you mentioned them. Where I hear there's a fair bit of trouble brewing for them with the Northhook Company.
I've heard that as well. I believe I've dealt with it. The old Dagger Isles shuffle.
He shakes his head and he says, all right. This is the moment where we make the decision, you and I, whether we're going to be in business or I kill you.
Fair.
He looks over at Reymond. He says, can this one be trusted? I mean, can he be trusted?
He can be trusted.
Then he gets to make the decision. So, and he looks over at Reymond. You've been quite silent, but you've been very attentive in your awareness of what we've been speaking. You've enjoyed my drink. We have no ill will. I've never met you before. So I think that you, given the trust that your man has in you, should make the decision about what we should do first. Should we facilitate the Lampblacks? Should we support their efforts in the Crow's Foot? Or should we focus on the Foghounds?
What you have to see, mate, is I was told to keep silent, all right? And probably for good reason here.
Is that what you say to him?
I can see you laughing your ass off, and I don't appreciate it.
OC is sitting on a bench like, God fucking damn it.
As soon as she hears, listen, mate, he's like, no.
She's just shaking her head.
OC draws the cane sword. I'll kill him. Just kill him right now.
She's just throwing orange peels over at him.
As I was saying, stuff falling out of the trees. Although I am me, and I've got my status and my money and whatnot, I really think we should leave it up to Nyx. You see, I put money into things and it gives me more money. But now it seems that I'm putting money into things to give me other things than money. So for me to decide where we should move would be very stupid. You're not stupid, you know. And Nyx is definitely not stupid as far as knowing where to put, you know, the power and the decisions to make. So why don't you and I trust each other, that we can trust in Nyx, that we can trust him to do what's the best for us?
Look at how
Savvy.
smart he dresses.
OC's just on the side like, God, fuck it, just leave them alone for like 10 minutes.
But are you smart? Are you smart? Because clearly your man trusts you. Clearly he feels comfortable in talking to you about this, or talking in front of you about this. You are not, and he looks you up and down, the fighter type. You do not serve as a guardian. So you clearly must be the brains or the money of the operation. And even case, to me, that says that you can make a decision. Now, I can appreciate deferring to the person that you see as responsible for the negotiation. But I think Nyx and I, we might go round and round and maneuver and talk and jest and maybe revel in old times and make decisions that benefit just us. But because you're here and your young lady back there, as she looks at the bench, oh, I know you're there, dear.
Who, me?
I just like oranges.
These damn kids.
So he acknowledges you back there, and looks back at Reymond and says, "But I think it's really important that you make the decision. That shows me your worth and your value. I know his value. Clearly she is good. You, I don't know."
So
Yes, you must forgive orange peels over there.
That was good. You're muted, which makes it better.
damn it. Something about peeling his skin off.
Oh, ouch. Well, Reymond, he's put you into position, and he won't broker any more sass from you. So what are you planning to do? Or how are you planning to solve this?
You know what? Why don't we kill two birds with one stone, mate? Why don't we, help out with the Leviathan caravan?
So business.
Oh, for sure.
Money.
You see, not just a pretty face. He's got a pretty mind.
A beautiful one, you might say.
Thank you, OC.
Nick shoots back the rest of his drink and begins refilling it.
OC pulls another orange out from her dress.
Where does she keep them?
My orange says
Where does she get those wonderful toys? He looks at you and he realizes again that there's more to you, Nix, than he realized or he first thought, because of who you're hanging, you're associating with. And he looks from, as Reymond answers, he looks back at you and says, "And now we have a relationship." And that is where we're going to end it.
Wink.
So you guys completed the score. We'll do downtime afterwards.
Sure.
But yeah, we're going to call that the end of the score, and we'll do payoff and downtime and all of that after, next week.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do payoff and down, I mean, if you want to do, what do you call it? Is it payoff? Is it where you do rep and heat and shit like that? We can knock that out quick if you want.
Okay, we can definitely do that, and then you guys can just do downtime activities. But we also have XP, so I want to.
Yeah, well, we can do rep and XP right now if you want, and then we'll do the downtime activities at the start of next week. So we have two rep automatically for being completing a quest,
and they are a tier 4, so that's another 4.
So a total of 6.
Yes.
Okay, now
that means that you guys level as a faction.
It does if we have money, right?
Right, and you need to have at least 8 coin.
Yep.
Do we?
So, not currently, but how much coin do we get from this, completing this job?
This is definitely going to be at least a small job, because this is a negotiation with a tier 4 faction. Okay. So,
what does that equal?
4 coin.
4 coin. So we have 4, plus that 4 coin, we advance a tier.
Okay. So you now officially are a tier 1 faction with a weak position, with a weak hold. Congratulations.
So we are a tier 1 faction, and we have 4 rep in that tier. We are tier 1, and we have a weak hold.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sweet mama jammas, and we have.
So there are other little bits and pieces that we'll deal with off screen around that. This is again smooth and low exposure.
So 1 heat.
So the situation was with a well-connected target, so it's definitely going to be 1 heat. Yeah, we're going to call it just 1 heat.
Okay.
And that means that you guys now have 5, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. So let me roll 1d6 for the entanglement real quick, and then you guys can decide on that, and then we'll deal with the result of that next week. So 1d6. Oh wow. Okay. This is a new one. A faction with whom you have a negative status makes a play against your holdings. Give them 1 claim or go to war, drop to a -3 status. If you have no claims, lose 1 hold instead.
What's a hold?
So your hold is your weak status or your strong status.
Oh,
So-
I see that.
Yes.
Interesting.
You would not be able to take that as an option because you just transitioned from,
Yeah.
or, well, I could also interpret that as dropping you down a tier. Although I would want to look into that. So let's not do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, so we know it's a rest, so we can handle that. We can handle the details off screen and then come back to that next week.
Right. So it's called a show of force is the entanglement.
Okay.
So just for reference, guys. All right. We'll deal with
actually-
downtime actions after that, or we'll deal with downtime actions next week. Shit.
Right.
Let me turn on. Be right back.
Okay. Yeah, so guys, while he's doing whatever he's doing, turning his lights on, I will remind you guys that this is the every Wednesday show. This is a 2-part cast here on unMadeGaming, also on Not So Speedruns tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As I said before, you guys knocked it out of the park with subscriptions, retweets, follows, all kinds of cool shit. Skagith, hello, how's it going tonight, buddy? And this has been a crazy, intense ride, guys. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. And as much as I am, which is pretty fucking cool. So, Johnny, you were saying.
So we'll go into XP now, since we'll do
Okay.
downtime next week, and we'll deal with that entanglement next week.
Sure.
Okay, so let's start with OC.
She didn't address anything with deception or influence.
Okay.
She didn't express that her beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. But I think she did struggle with her vice.
She definitely did struggle with her vice, and I think that there are 2 circumstances where she did that. The first time is when she actually indulged her vice, but could not indulge it with Nye.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time is watching. Exactly.
Okay,
So,
that's it.
okay, great. Reymond.
So just trying to think, because there wasn't a lot of Reymond tonight, which is all good. But I believe just with his backgrounds
I'm almost done.
would be with the martial arts training on how he was able to handle
Okay.
the blow that was taken against him.
Okay.
Also
your
with
heritage.
heritage as well. So
Absolutely.
And you use your vice.
yeah, use that.
Well, so okay, so the thing about the struggling with your vice is that it's not necessarily about using your vice. It's about if there's a circumstance where the situation, the type of vice that you have, like for example, if you're a drug addict and you're around drugs but you don't actually partake in them at that point, that would be a struggle.
Okay.
So in this case, I don't think that that Reymond struggled with his vice. He successfully did his thing. So that sounds like 2 XP to me.
I would also argue that when you play a slide, you earn XP. When you address a challenge with deception or influence, I think he threw around his name, dressed up as himself, as his normal self, with this interaction with the hive, and dealt with that since he got put in the hot seat there with his. Influence.
Absolutely.
Twice as well, because he revealed himself today as the Bow Bomb is associated now with the, what did you call us? The Shrouded in Darkness?
Shroud. Yeah. Yeah, I can see
Actually,
that too.
that's true. So that's another 2 XP right there.
4 XP total.
Yep, totally. All right, Nix, you're up.
So, address a challenge with deception or calculation. Oh, no, sorry, with calculation or whatever the hell the other word is. Conspiracy. I think I did that twice, at least, with each one of the scores tonight.
Yep.
So that's 2 XP. Then I express my beliefs, drives, heritage, background. Heritage and background both with the guy from the Hive and the guy from the Lamp Blacks, as well as my drives being ambitious and a megalomaniac.
Okay.
So I would say at least 2 for that, unless anyone has objections.
No.
And then I didn't roll any desperate actions, and I don't know if I didn't struggle with my vice, and I didn't endure any trauma, I wouldn't say.
But you definitely killed someone today.
I definitely did murder somebody.
Oh, hell yes, you
For
murdered someone.
pleasure.
And not just
So-
someone.
Okay, so that's where it becomes interesting because your vice is very particularly focused on inflicting pain on other people. You're essentially a masochist.
Mhm.
That even though when you made the role, he was still technically alive. I still think that you carried through with that. I mean, unless you're not a murderous person by nature, like you just got caught up in the moment. And that was the way you played it in a negative circumstance, then I can see you struggling with your vice because you murdered.
He's not a murderous person, but he intended to kill him. He just used his intention to also relieve some stress.
Okay, so that to me sounds like it's not struggling with your vice.
Okay, cool. So that sounds like 4 XP to me.
Okay.
And then we'll go to the Shroud.
And then the Shroud's crew XP.
So execute a successful espionage, theft, or sabotage. I mean, they were social engagements. Would they qualify? I mean, we did successfully do an operation. Espionage? Okay. So
I think espionage.
We did 2 of those, so I'll mark 2 XP for that.
Okay.
Contend with challenges above your current station.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean,
2.
arguably, yeah.
2 more.
So 1, 2 for that one. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one.
Yes.
I would say arguably 2 on that one as well. And then express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew. I think we expressed drives and goals of power and ambition as well as...
I think this is a full 8.
Yeah, okay.
This is a full 8 because you accomplished those you accomplished it multiple times. So
sure.
I mean, I think we are the greatest team in the world.
Until tomorrow night.
And cut. No.
Until tomorrow night when the Phantom discovers that there's a body at their doorstep. I'm looking forward to
Next week on Bowerbomb opened his fat mouth at the end of the game.
So, guys, this has been Blades in the Dark 6 and 20. As I said previously, this is a stream that is encased by 3 streamers, 3 broadcasters here. Myself, VideoStoreCowboy here as the great Dungeon Master. Not So Speedruns in chat. He runs another channel, and this game on that channel where Johnny is also the DM over there. Coming soon, there is only 3, I believe, sessions left of Blades in the Dark 6 and 20 Season 1. Season 2 is something that's in the works. There are big new changes coming to Season 2. Look out for that. Keep your eyes posted on Twitter and the hashtag 6 and 20. If you guys are interested, we currently have some 6 and 20 merch. We have t-shirts, notebooks, stickers, and mugs. Definitely all cool. Definitely check those out. If you guys like your tea and your PG tips to touch, get that 6 and 20 mug. And you guys can see us here tomorrow at 7 p.m. for D&D 5e in my homebrew world in a game called Havoc in the Hinterlands. So we're going to go around real quick, and do our little introductions for these guys and let you know where you can find these guys on the internet and where you can follow them. So, Johnny, who are you? What are you doing here? And what did you think of tonight's session?
I actually don't have an answer for that. I'm still processing all the shit that happened tonight.
Yeah, huh?
Okay, so I'm gonna let me say this really quickly, and then I will do my spiel to get out of here. Each week, each session, each crew brings something new to the table in a really significant way, and each time I think, holy shit, that was amazing. There's no way that can be topped, or there's no way that yeah. Tonight again, the circumstances with which all of that went down, I'm incredibly impressed and feel incredibly humbled by being at the table with this group of people and with the other group of people on Thursday nights. So thank you guys so much. I'm having such a good time and have no idea where I'm going to take this in season 2.
That extends back to you for not only running this on 2 channels, which I can only assume is maddening, but also putting up with our nonsense and the stress we dump on you on a day-to-day basis with all of our nonsensical ideas.
See this
ghosts and otherwise.
Yeah. But yeah,
and for even taking the time out of your busy schedule to run this on 2 channels. We appreciate it as much as we enjoy playing it. But yeah, who are you? Where can we find you?
So Johnny, I run the VideoStoreCowboy channel. I do on Monday nights. I hang out with a couple of these kids and fuck around in Borderlands. I'm going to be hopefully streaming a little bit later tonight and playing a little bit of Overwatch. Tomorrow night, you'll find me over on Speedy's channel running the other half, Phantom Crew, who's going to have to deal with a dead body on their doorstep, which I'm very interested to read what happens in Discord after this. So yeah, you can probably find all my information in chat. So thanks, guys.
Sweet deal. We'll jump over to the man, the myth, the legend, the Bower Bottom. Slade, who are you? What are you doing here? And what did you think of tonight's session?
So tonight was good. Hella dark. There was no goat murdering though, so a little bit disappointed. But things to come in the season finale for sure. But no, so I'm Slade for Quick Dice Game. You can see me do RPG things, Overwatch things, and of course we've got those that are interested in Crash Bandicoot coming out. So if you want to see some playthroughs of that, guys, come and give me the follow, and yeah, have a shoot the crit with me.
Sweet. And last but definitely not least, Xmas Ninja, who are you? What are you doing here? And what did you think of tonight's game?
I think tonight went as well as it could have. There were a few hiccups, there were a few scary parts, but it's only downhill from here. I'm enjoying the game so far, though. I think there's a lot of stuff in the works that's going to either go really well or really poorly. But I'm Xmas Ninja. I run my own channel doing horror games, first-person shooters, coming out with a few new games in the next few weeks here, and probably also going to be jumping in on some Overwatch later.
Sweet deal. Guys, I am, as you know, I am Mike here. I run the things here at unMadeGaming. This was an awesome session. This got, as Slade said, this got very dark. This got very interesting. This was the first time in 7 episodes that we've rebutted against the actions taken by the opposite crew. And it really wasn't even the opposite crew, it was just one member of the opposite crew. So this is the first time we're actually interacting with each other, which is very interesting. There's a lot of moving parts here. It's very scary. I am sweaty. And it's mostly from the game and not because it's 90 degrees in my house right now. So yeah, guys, we're gonna go do a quick and dirty little raid. Let's find out who. Let's see who's let's go raid our friends Saving Throw Show. They're playing some Iron Keeper Chronicles. So let's go give them some sweet raid love, guys. I'm gonna copy this raid alarm here in the chat. You guys copy and paste that and watch for that host. And from all of us here at unMadeGaming to you guys, bye-bye.